starring the one and only Nomad.
Yo, Nomaniacs, welcome to the show. This is Nomad at Night. I am your host, Nomad, and these are the culprits with me. I got kids up at the top. Got C Sharp over there to the right. Samo just popped up in here. Brian Hendren got away from the chat for a little while, came to join the show. And our newest member of the Nomad Network, Keith Harris, man. Thank you guys for coming. And we're gonna talk about some corners, man, and we're gonna talk about the list of corners and what y'all thought about them here in just a minute. But let's just introduce ourselves, man. Tell it how your weekend been going, man. Hopefully everybody's had a good weekend. Kid, let's start with you, man.
Yeah, start with the guy on mute. Yo, what's up, No Maniacs? Hey, there's my guy Samo in the building. Good to be back in the building. Good to be back in effect. We're gonna touch base on some cornerbacks today. I like the cornerbacks, and that's kind of just where we left things off in the green room. So I'll leave things off right where we are. Keith, what do you think?
Well, I got a chance to kind of dive in on a few of them myself, and I'm pretty excited about them myself. I like the physicality that I see, and I can't wait for us to kind of dig in. I got a couple that I kind of have kind of rose to the top of my list, but I'm pretty excited. Let's get going.
All right, Brian, how you been, man? How's your weekend?
I've had a nice, relaxing weekend, seeing how we got snow and it got cold Friday. And yesterday the weather was sucky. I was doing fine. Today it started warming up, so I'm happy about that. Hey, thanks everybody for showing up. I don't know a lot about these cornerbacks, so I'm going to be learning like you guys, but it should be a good show.
All right, Samo, what's going on with you, man? How your weekend been going so far?
What's up? What's up, man? It's been a little crazy weekend, but all good right now. We're gonna talk these cornerbacks. Let's get into it.
Samo is a little bit delayed right now. My mic is muted. Who just muted my mic? Hey, so anyway, before we get all the way into the cornerbacks and that whole thing, let's just talk general, man, because Kids and Samo didn't really get a chance, and I don't think Brian had a chance to really talk about Bojack not being here and Cody Whitehair. And what do you guys feel about that? Now, I'm gonna just warn you, I did get on here because there was some foul stuff going on when the Bears posted, that Bojack and Whitehair will be leaving. Man, it's some real foul stuff, man. Just kicking in the crotch for no good reason, man. Instead of, shouting them out, bigging them up for what they brought to the table, for 8-9 years they've been here, however long they've been here. But, I'm open to however everybody feels about whatever. To me, I think we ought to be respectful about it. That's all.
Kid, muted.
Kids, you're muted.
All right. I like how you. Sorry. Thanks, guys. I like how you prefaced it with that. This way, Sam can't. You can't be too happy about certain situations.
You still be happy.
keeps Samo tempered. You know what I mean? Look, big respect to the legend Cody Whitehair. Big respect to Bojack. They played fantastic for us while they were here. In both cases, we'll sum it up real simple. They're getting a little bit up in age, and level of play started to level off. The reality was that level of play worth $21 million this coming year? Apparently, Ryan Poles has made the decision that it's not.
Right. Man, I have nothing but the utmost respect for both of those guys, man. Those guys are both Bears legends, absolutely, in my heart and in my mind, man. I appreciate everything they did for the Bears, man. That 2018 run that we had, they were very pivotal parts of that. And it was just sad to see that Bojack wasn't able to be a part of that playoff game. And I don't think Bojack has ever been to the playoffs now that I think about it because he wasn't available for that game after hurting his foot. So, hey, man, much respect for those guys. Yes, everyone knows I was very vocal about, it being time to move on from them. But that's just because I'm a Bears fan and I think that, that's what's best for the team moving forward. But as far as what they've done for this organization and, the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into it, yeah, absolutely respect for that. And anyone who's out here talking trash about them, something is wrong with you, man. Because yeah, that's I would never do that. Like I said, like my point was just that those guys are past their prime. It's for the money that they make right are making right now, and it's just time to move on to get some young, hungry guys in the building.
Brian, you didn't get a chance. You was doing the chat during that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, number one, we all know it wasn't surprised that those two got cut uh, because, like what Cad said, they're getting a little long in the tooth. Uh, their play has diminished the past few years, but at the same time, you have to respect those guys was two true warriors for our team for several years. Uh, Whitehair, yeah, I mean, safety wasn't his strong suit, but the guy gave 100% wherever you put him, safety or guard or what, and he was a leader. And the same thing with Bojack. Yeah, he wasn't the best tackler, but he was a leader. If the ball was up in the air near him, you know, more times than not, he came down with it or deflected it. I'm not going to give them any crap because they did the best that they can, and they, like I said, they was leaders for years for this team. I'm sorry to see them go, but I understand it and wish them the best luck, whatever their endeavor is. And I think the Bears did them right by cutting them as early as they did to give them a chance to sign with another team. So kudos for Ryan Poles for that move.
Anybody else want to touch that? Because I'll tell you what. If you still want to embellish a little bit on that, I'm fine with it. But here's what I think.
I thought Samo was going to give you more grief than that. That's all I was going to say.
You know what? Samo is going to give me more grief about it at some point when we start doing a mock draft. But I understand where Samo coming from, man. He's always been, and to me, I think it was always a money thing at the end of the day. How much were the contracts, and how much is this going to cost the team? Because at the end of the day, man, I highly doubt either one of them come back. But there is a I guess a slight chance that either one of them may make it back to the team after they test free agency, get a crack at that. This will be both of their first opportunities to get out there. Now they're out there. They're older than, what would be optimum age to be in free agency. And so, there's an outside chance either one of them could come back, but I doubt it. However, I think, just to speak on Bojack and his situation, I think the situation is laid out perfectly for, be quite honest, Vic is over there in Philly right now, and I think they need a veteran safety in the first place. I think that was probably one of their shortcomings last year, during the season. Also, I wouldn't be surprised to see Detroit take a crack at him too, and kind of move Gardner Johnson down into the slot more and play strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see that whatsoever.
Yeah, man. It wasn't so much the money for me, man. It was the play on the field, man. Their play had diminished heavily, man. And you can see it. Like, you can see a difference in Eddie Jackson. He was a step slower, man. He wasn't a willing tackler, consistently. And that's an issue for me, man, because you go from being an asset to a liability on the defense at that point in time. And the same for Cody Whitehair. He became a liability on the offensive line because, you have to protect your quarterback, your investment in your quarterback. And if you have a guy who's a little bit longer in the tooth, a little bit slower, and a little bit delayed and not as strong in the trenches, then, you're liable to get your guy hurt, man, if you're playing around with that. So that's on top of them being very costly players. So, man, the play on the field is really what did it for me, though. That's what dictates, me feeling the way I feel about moving on from those guys. It's just that we saw the drop off, and it happened quickly. And I don't think there's we would be fooling ourselves into thinking that something's going to change with those guys. Like all of a sudden they're just going to start turning it back on and they're going to be playing at peak level again. That doesn't happen in the NFL. You know, once you start seeing that decline, you're going downhill. You're not going uphill. You don't see players that uh, have that decline and then just turn it around and now they're all playing very well for the next couple of years. After that, you're getting tested. You know, them PEDs, those they have tests for that if they see things like that happening. So
There was,
that's
you
not
know
going
what,
to happen.
Samo? There was one game in particular that I saw, and I remember bringing the doc on here. The good doc came on here because we were talking about Bojack and that plantar fasciitis that he had
Yep.
going on, and I remember asking him about that and the recovery period and all this stuff. And I know, and I remember asking him, you know, is this the kind of injury that can linger? He was like, if you come back too fast from it, more or less, yeah, it's gonna probably hamper you from time to time. And then what's to Samuel's point, could you see him being slower in his breaks, recovery speed? Hell yeah, I saw it. I can't tell you the game in particular. Might have been either Tampa or I don't know. It was one of those games when he came back, and I just know that I tried. You know, normally I would see Eddie Jackson. Boom, he breaks on the ball. He's at that ball. He's going to be at the catch point. He's going to run through somebody, and he just couldn't get on his giddy up and get to the ball. And I was just like, okay, I see that. Now, is that going to be, you know, something that's going to be ongoing for Eddie Jackson? I don't know. All I know is what people tell me about that. I had a buddy that had that, you know what I mean? But he said, you know, just giving it some time off and staying off of his feet for a long period of time helped him. You know, but you know, Eddie, you having that issue, you know, going into a season, and there was no I'm gonna be off my feet for no extended period of time. No, you got to play. And so, did that contribute to it? I think so. But you know, is he still a step slower a little bit? That could also be true too. But I think that was the bigger deal for Eddie Jackson than anything.
And when you say that, I just thought about, you know, that may be why he doesn't tackle as much. Because as we both know, when you go tackle, you got to bring your feet. And, you know, that's putting more pressure on your feet on that foot when you're trying to bring your feet. So that might be the issue too with, you know, the tackling. So I don't know.
He ain't never been no real big tackler. He's just always been a ball hawk, you know.
Hmm.
But from my understanding, I think it's the surface, especially at Soldier Fields, man. Because what people don't know, underneath all that, there's a sand base as well, and that's not good, especially when it's cold off that lakefront. That's more like putting sod on top of concrete. So
Man, we trying to be respectful here. I ain't even gonna cut that excuse out. I'll let it ride. I'll just leave it right there. Hey man, for BoJack, for me, it's just that one clip of him saying, you know, they don't really pay us to tackle, and then kind of watching him miss tackles systematically after that. And
Yeah, that's true.
anyways, Eddie, we love you, bro. Good
yeah,
luck on your next moves, man.
definitely.
Cody, same token, we love you. Good luck on your next move. Hopefully the Bears can find some quality talent to replace both of you. They've got big shoes to fill.
Big
Really
time
quick.
contributions, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, real quick, guys, man. For anybody that's listening to the show, watching the show, listening to it, however you getting this stream, if you haven't really padded up on a certain level, I remember in high school, man. You know, that was like my freshman, sophomore year in high school. That's when I first realized that, like, you know, the step up in talent, man. You know, I was a freshman, sophomore, getting thrown into varsity football with big boys, man, and I wasn't the biggest dude, man, and you know, for all my life, you know, I'd hit guys and it didn't really, you know, do anything to me. I didn't feel nothing after the game, but when you start stepping up in competition, and so guys start getting bigger and bigger. Here I was going from high school to college. Guys got bigger and stronger. All I'm going to tell you is, let me tell you something. Tackling, once you get to a certain level, it's a commitment, bro. I'm telling you right now. Everybody looks at this stuff on TV and you're like, why is he tackling? Why is he not doing it? Man, it hurts. That's why. It damn hurts. You
It's
got
a
to be
business
So
decision.
true.
yes.
Hmm.
It hurts. That's why, man. I don't give a damn who you are. How bad you
Yep.
think you are when you like AJ Dillon, man, ain't nobody trying
Mhm.
to deal with that, man. Ain't nobody
Nah.
trying to tackle that dude, man. Straight up,
Tree trunks with eyes. It's like, yeah, that's a lot to bring down, man.
I remember having that. We had a fullback that was kind of built like him when I was in college, man. And I'm pissed off at the linebackers and the D line. I'm like, man, y'all got to get him down, man. He ain't got no business getting out here to me, man. Come on, man. This dude killing me out here, man. Man, that junk hurts, man. I'm just telling people, man. You look at this stuff on TV, and it's hard to really respect those collisions out there. I'm telling you, by the time you get done tackling big cats like that, man, your body feel like you've been in a straight out war, man.
Be in the ice tub all day and for the
Man,
rest of the day, like trying to recover. Yep.
be out there busted, disgusted, and can't be trusted. Tell me. But yeah, I just wanted to get into that for a second, man. I do think both of them are going to land on some teams. Their careers are not over. They're gonna. I think Eddie probably will start somewhere. I think Cody probably will be a swing player somewhere. Could start depending on what kind of injury situation he walks into. But good luck to those guys, man. I just wanted to give them one more shout out before we move the ball to another subject, man, because I do respect what they had to do here, man, in this war. And just to get yourself prepared to play one game, just to what you got to do is just, man, that's a book by itself, man. But let's get on into some what did we come here for, man? Let's start at the top, Samo. What did you think about without getting into particular names? What did you think about this list of safeties?
It's a good list. It's a good list. It's a stacked
Not
list.
safeties,
I'll say
corners.
that.
My
Uh,
bad.
of the corners, yeah, it's a very stacked list. I really like most of the guys. Like I think five of the guys I really like, and then the other five, I really like as well, but just not as much as this first five. And it might be surprising to you the guy that I like the most, but man, or the three guys that I like the most, but the one guy just he's amazing to me, and it's probably gonna be the first guy we talk about. That's when we get into it.
Brian, I'm gonna skip you, man, because I know you didn't get a good chance to get all the way into it. Don't worry about it. Keith, what you think without naming names, man? What do you think about the list?
I saw a lot of athleticism. I saw some guys that really like to mix it up, and they was man. And something that I know that Flus like is guys just like flying around, always around the ball. And I saw that a lot with a few of these guys. I mean, their hands always in the right place, and believe it or not, some pretty sound technique, which I was impressed with. You know, oftentimes you hear that's the biggest thing that criticism when it comes to corners coming out is their technique. These guys seem to be very sound in their technique, which I was very impressed with. So, man, I'm excited. I'm real curious to see because we're gonna take one. You know, Pose is good for at least getting one out the draft. So I'm curious to see who he ends up, you know, sneaking off of the list that we're gonna talk about.
Mhm.
Yeah. This draft is pretty stacked, guys. Is really, really what I'm gonna say. At multiple positions, it's kind of stacked up really nicely. Do we need cornerbacks? I'm gonna say we don't need cornerbacks. So I completely ignored this list for quite some time. Finally got my feet wet and started paying attention to what these cornerbacks look like. And I was pleasantly surprised. I did take a peek at a couple of them earlier on because they kind of fell into into safeties and other positions somehow. But this list is like these are all quality players. There's no two ways about this. I'll kind of leave it there and let us sort of get into who's who in the zoo. But very quality at quarterback, and it's kind of a shame that we don't really need one this time around because I'd be interested.
Hey, well, I'm gonna beg to differ with kids here. I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, I always listen to what the coaches say all the time, man. I'm not necessarily ever pulling anything out of my rectum to tell you what the Bears will do. I just listen to what they say. And when they had I think the closing press conference, man, we're talking about drafting and doing all that stuff. You heard Fu say we like our corners and we're gonna keep drafting them. So I know they're gonna draft a corner or two, at least one. And here's what I think might be at play right now. And we've been talking about this for a while on this network, man. There is a I would say 50-50 chance, maybe a little less than that. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance that one of those corners could get moved to safety, whether it be
Couple of
Tyree. So that's what I wanted to talk about that right now.
Mhm.
We get all the
Yeah.
way into them. Which
Yeah.
one of those guys, if they do decide to take that road, which one of those guys who do you feel better about? I know I like Terrell Smith. I like Terrell Smith because of the size. Tyreek, I like what he's producing at corner, but I can see that happening for him too. So I'm up in the air. I'm like 50-50 with both of them. So that can actually happen, kids. They double dip on big corners for a reason. Maybe we don't know the reason for that until now. I don't know if
Mhm.
they'll do it, but I think it's a possibility.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think it's a possibility. And like, let me give you a little bit more plausibility here, right? So if they're deciding to grab a cornerback as opposed to a safety and switch somebody over to a safety because the better cornerback is available to them in the draft, I can see them doing that and then switching things up on the back end. It really depends on who's there, right? Like when they're looking to draft that DB, I think safety is really what they're going to aim for. And given the safeties we looked at this time around, your guy Hampton is probably going to be deep in the draft, yo, and he's really good. Like the safety draft is really, really square this year too. So that's sort of why I just don't see them quadruple dipping into cornerback right now when safety is a glaring need and the safety group is
I'm
really,
just telling you
really
what the guy said. I believe him when he told me that they're going to keep drafting corner. The thing about
Yeah.
corner, and just the DBs in particular, man, you'll never have enough of them. You will
I
never
agree,
have
and Flus is also a linebacker guy. He could always go and decide to grab a linebacker, but there's holes in this. There's holes that have been created that they need to fill.
Well, I mean, we can think what we want on the outside, but I'm telling you what the guy said, and I'm just look at Indy. If you look
Yeah.
at Indy's team, I swear, man, it looked like that team had about 80 cornerbacks, man, and DBs all together, man. It seemed like they had they just had a bunch of them. I mean, I just understand the concept, and I think the talent that they have at corner, I think is too good to have them sitting on the sidelines and not on the
Exactly.
field. And so I think
Exactly.
Terrell Smith's talent is too huge. I think Tyreek Stevenson's talent is too huge. I think you got to find a way to keep them on the field some kind of way.
Mhm.
And I
That's
think how
what
you
makes
do
it
that
hard.
is ask them to move and see if they want to play some of this safety.
I
Yep.
can see Terrell Smith moving over there more so than Tyreek because I think Tyreek likes to be physical. He likes to put his hands on receivers. He likes to mix it up. And I can see Terrell because of his size and I think he has more off ball instinct to where he could transition over to that position and play that free safety mode because I think what we're going to start seeing in the league period is more nickel and dime sets
Yeah.
anyway. So you're going to get a chance. You're going to need to be able to kind of switch them out from time to time. You know, I'm I'm kind of leaning that way too. I'm curious to see, man, because there's some thumpers, whether it's safety or corners coming out this draft, man. It's almost like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. You almost want to take one just to make sure that you get one of them because this is a good crop of them here.
That's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. These guys,
Make a good point.
Nomad's guy is super late, man. He can grab him.
No, you make a good point about the league pushing more towards nickel and dime defenses simply because it's coming up a passing league. So that's what you're in most of the time now. So you don't see a lot of linebackers. So that's why I was talking about, a lot of teams playing the three safeties now on their defense and playing big nickel and adding those physical corners now. And that's what we have a list of physical guys, man, who and come down and hit tackle in the run game, who are very good in coverage, man. Like that's the defensive coordinator's dream to have someone that you can rely on to play the run support and cover just equally as well. And typically linebackers aren't good at both. So if you got corners that can come down and hit, and you can play that sub package and really put a lot of pressure on defenses that way. But again, you're gonna have some offensive coordinators that are gonna come in with the big jumbo packages to try to get you out of that defense. But I think the versatility of the cornerback coming out of college right now is welcomed, and it's probably going to change the league a lot in the future because the DBs are now, like you just said, bigger, more physical, and extremely athletic right now.
So, because of what Keith said, I'm glad you brought that up, bro. I'm glad you brought it up because those sub packages and defenses are in those sub packages more than they're in, base packages now, and that's just the way you play football now. It's because offenses are so multiple. You gotta give them something to really you got to give them something out there, and I think
That's what killed San Francisco, honestly, in the Super Bowl, man. Because once Greenlaw went down, that killed them because KC saw that and they started. That's when they used. If you notice, that's when they really started going heavy with 3 tight ends, and they really they went at them. They said, okay, now we can see where your weakness is at, and they attacked that weakness, man, in between the numbers, and they wreaked havoc on them. So that's why I'm thinking, man, you seeing these bigger. You're seeing bigger corners now. Even the safeties now are bigger, and they rangy. They flying around. And again, like I said, I use the word thumper because these cats is bringing some wood, man. They ain't afraid to mix it up. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be. It's interesting to see how things are starting to evolve. I'm like, this is gonna be real fun the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
so.
Well, I wouldn't be mad if they get a cornerback. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I like this group of cornerbacks. I like the group of safeties. I'm not really sure who's better, but I think I just think they can get some depth at safety deep in
We
this
definitely got
draft.
to
And
address the safety position no matter what, though. We got to address it. So
that's
double
where
dip
my head is.
We have to double dip at the safety position. And let's keep it
Yeah.
real. We don't know what's going to happen with the Jalen Johnson situation because, and we've seen Poles is a tough negotiator when it comes to free agency. And when he's set on a number, man, that's what he's going to stick with. He's going to stick to his guns. He's very disciplined in
he played
his
himself.
approach. Yeah. When you say what?
Poles played himself, man. He should have went
Starting to
ahead.
feel like that now.
He should have went. He should have went ahead and paid that man when he had a chance to. Because now
He absolutely did.
Now he got to pay him.
Now he
got
has
to
to
pay him.
really pay.
And you can't stand to be criticized for letting them go either. Because if you let them go, now you're gonna seem like you cheap. So
We said that
Ooh.
actually on the show, man.
Now you have to get something for him, or if you do
Remember
let
that
him go, you have to
conversation,
get
Samo?
something.
Remember that
Yep.
conversation? We probably
Yeah,
should
we did. We definitely did have that conversation about, the price going up. The price is probably going to go up. And it did. It definitely did. But you also have to consider what happened, though, with Jalen Johnson, because just think about it, man. Your play elevated to a point where you are playing the best ball you've ever played in your life, but you're playing for a contract. Is that same motivation going to be there? That's what I question. I don't like
I think it will with him.
I'm gonna tell you, stop that.
I think it
Stop
will.
doing that now.
I think it will with him because
Obviously,
I think he's got something to prove. I think he's out to prove something, man. And
I don't think
really
it's. I disagree with that. I don't think it was a prove it situation this time around for Jalen Johnson, even though he was challenged by Poles to prove it.
Oh no, I agree with you on that.
I think it was
Naked, yeah.
actually the Tez effect. I don't think Jalen Johnson has really had a defensive end causing a lot of havoc.
That helps. That helped. That's not
year one, right? Now that there's some pressure on the quarterback, now he can make his impression felt. Now he can do some things.
No,
Hey, kids.
he was playing better before that. He was playing better before. Tez
He was playing better before.
added to it.
Exactly. He was playing better before.
Tez
Well,
added.
he played a heck of a lot better after too. Right? You got a bunch of
More opportunities was there. That's what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But by the same,
That's what I'm saying. Now that he has that additional pressure up front, he can play freer. He can he can undercut ball. You know what I'm
He
saying?
can take some
Jump out.
chances. He can take some
can take
chances now.
He couldn't take chances before. So
Right.
I'm like, normally I would be saying the same thing as Samo because I don't trust it. But in this scenario, it ain't just a trust thing. I think the team has improved, and it's now allowed Jalen to do what he has to do that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this year was different too. This year was different because we actually stopped the run today. This year, and had the right to earn the right to rush the passer and got him those opportunities to get his hands on some balls. So yeah, this year was different in that sense. So I put all that into consideration, but I just want to make sure, that he's going to remain motivated, because if you look at a situation like the Washington Commanders had with Deron Payne, he had an amazing season on his contract year. He had like 10 sacks or something, and then the very next year he goes down to 2 sacks. So I don't want that production to drop off that much, because the motivation is not there, or for whatever the reason might be.
This is what I'm saying. I don't think it's a motivation thing, right?
Listen, all you guys are right. Everybody's right. Your kids is right. His play improved when we got Tez, and Samo, you're right too, because that bag brain is a real thing. And Deron Payne is a perfect example. Y'all let Brian get in there real quick.
Right, that's what I'm trying to break it so he can get in.
I was just going to say, you add in second year in Plou's system and getting John Hope, who arguably is one of the better secondary coaches. All that, like Chris just said, all that comes into play. Worst case scenario, and I know no one wants this to happen, but you still got the franchise tag that will buy you an extra year to see if Johnson can repeat what he just did.
Man, like that's a heavy, like that's jerk store negotiation. I don't know what else to call it. Like I could call it some other things, but it'd just be mean or more vulgar. But you know what I mean? Now you're saying, hey man, we don't believe you. You came out, you did it. We don't believe you, so we're gonna give you a couple of bucks. You're gonna pay. You're gonna be paid well. But when you don't do it again next year,
I'll tell you what.
now we're negotiating.
I'll tell you what. I can give you guys a heads up on where this might go. I'm gonna tell you, this is how you're gonna know. Depends on if they take big swings in free agency, that's gonna signal that they're gonna try to get something. They want to win now. And what do? If you take big swings, let's say if you go right after Daniil Hunter, let's say you go right after a Chase Young, you go right after a Brian, what's his name? Brian Burns. If they take a swing like that in free agency, that's going to signal to you they think that they can win right now. And to me, I think the franchise tag is on the table then. I hope not, but that's going to signal that they want to keep Jalen no matter what the means are. They want to keep him here because they want to make a run this year. Depends on the swing in free agency. The big swing in free agency will dictate whether or not they want to keep Jalen or Jalen is on the trade block.
Well, the franchise tag, I don't want that as a first option, but it is an option.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing you want to do if you want to keep sanctimony inside your locker room. If you want to avoid that if you can. Most teams that use a franchise tag, those mostly are championship contender teams that have a key piece that they don't want to let go. Like I don't think we're in no position to be franchise tagging really anybody right now.
We got Cap.
We're good, man. We should be able to take care of people. I think once we get to that championship phase and contending for just really being after it and being at the top of that heap, then you start considering. Not right now.
If they don't pay him, it will definitely have an effect on the locker room.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, but we don't know what his expectations are either, man. Like,
he's
a very confident dude.
If he's talking too crazy, then you might have to put the tag on him. And he knows that's an option they have. So hopefully his agent will do what's in his best interest.
But shouldn't he be talking crazy?
Yeah, but he can't. He can't get crazy.
Said he wanted to be the top paid. He said he wanted to be top paid corner.
You guys, like if you're at work and you're a sales guy, we'll call it a sales job. If you have a sales job and they go, okay, so meet your quota, and you never meet the quota, and then you go up to them, ask them for a raise, and they're like, well, you need to not just meet your quota, you need to meet and exceed the quota for us to give you that raise, and you crush the quota, you crush it, and you come back and you're like, yo, what's up with that raise now? I'm like, nah, we were playing. Right?
Hey,
Basically,
hey, kids, that's the second time you use that analogy. You used that same analogy before, and
working sales. I'm sorry, I'm working sales.
Yeah, it might work, but how often does the corporation not quite meet your lofty expectations?
I think he gets 18, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll give him
18 is doable.
18 is the cap number.
Man, he can take it.
He wants above the cap number, man.
Absolutely.
Your boy up at the Green Bay's getting 25. He wants 25. And you see what happened to him.
Who?
What's his name? Brother
Alexander?
Yeah, Jair.
He's 23 or something.
Overpaid.
Right?
Yeah,
overpaid.
But
his play fell off immediately. And that's another guy whose play fell off immediately after he got the contract. So that's what scares me, and I'm sure that scares Poles too, man.
I front loaded, and you may give him 2 real years out of it, and if he plays the same way, give him the last 2.
Okay, so if someone came to you, Chris, I'm gonna ask everyone this real quick.
So if we franchise tag him, it might also rub him the wrong way too, and cause him
that trade. He's gonna ask for that trade
because he's frustrated now because he can't get what what was promised to him. So he did what you asked him. He never got there. The odds of him now playing up to a high standard and high level are even less.
Yeah, because $18 million that would bug me.
No, man.
You can get him. I think you can get him at 16 or 17. You just got to front load it.
He said that he would play under the franchise tag, but that was like 4 or 5 games out. Like 4 or 5 games. We still had like 4 or 5 games left.
Hey, no, man.
I understand that that's a tool that the Bears have. And
the Bears have.
He said that's good money. He said that would be good money too, but. I'm sure his agent doesn't want that. His agent wants him to get the long-term deal because you have to consider health. You don't know if he's going to get hurt this year. And,
I was going to say, how many full seasons does he have?
Yeah, so if we franchise tag him, I'm pretty sure he's going to ask for a trade.
This comment right here, though, y'all.
What is this? Okay,
they did this to Kyle Fuller, too, but it kind of worked out. They fronted. They said, "Yeah, we don't believe you. We're going to franchise tag you."
Now they transition tagged him.
They transition tagged him.
Yeah, and then they matched Green Bay's offer.
Here's what I think. I think in negotiating and building a culture and standing behind the words that you say all the time when you stand in front of a microphone, and then when you go back there and you talk to those guys in the locker room, if you say that you're gonna pay the homegrown talent what they're worth, and you don't do that, then you might disrupt the sanctimony in there, man, and your ability to be able to make people believe in what you're selling is going to start being a little bit questionable.
Okay, Nomad.
Yo,
let's see who we can get to replace him.
That's what I'm saying, because there are a lot of good corners. That's where I was going with it.
But see, Samo, you keep using the wrong. Your word that you use is good. We need better than good. So I'm not. No, brother. I'm gonna be honest. I trust Jalen Johnson.
You think Jalen is better than good? I don't think Jalen is better than good.
I honestly
do.
The
difference in us. I don't think he's better than good.
But see, first of all, let's look at it this way. What are we predicating it on? Are we talking about takeaways or what he actually does? Because for me, I prefer my corner to lock it down. If he can get some interceptions, great. But I prefer that. Nobody wants to throw his way, period. Let's take that whole side of the field away from a team. And that has been the case because he does study film. The boy is extremely intelligent. And he has been known to lock down that side. A lot of teams don't come his way. And then they really stopped coming his way once he started showing that he can get his hands on the ball and he can house it. So you add that in combination, he has earned whatever contract they decide on. I'm in that $18 million range as well with him. You front load it. and you got your corner that now is the staple for your secondary, especially we really don't have no other choice with now them releasing Bojack. We gotta sign Jalen
Hey,
I
because
think he's
that's
Chicago
the
good.
because he's the cornerstone. But see, remember we keep referring to Chicago. We got a real administration in the front office now, real football guys making decisions. I think we're going to see a completely different team when it comes to even paying guys. Now, there are going to be some guys that get paid because they're supposed to get paid. Those that haven't gotten paid wasn't supposed to get paid. Let's just keep it real. They
well,
This is
paid
my thing.
Montez Sweat after they went to go get him. Jalen's
They
gonna get
absolutely
his
should
money.
have. They absolutely should
Okay,
have.
and they paid him, and he wasn't homegrown. So you got to pay your homegrown guy who is literally now the staple to your secondary. Now that
Yeah.
Jalen,
Bojack
Also,
is
keep
gone,
in mind
he's
that
the elder statesman, and he's young enough to grow with this team as they start to really trending toward getting into the playoffs and potentially playing for the NFC Championship. You know, I have a strong feeling he will get his money, and he does what we need him to do, which he locks down that side of the field, and he's not
this
afraid to
hold up,
challenge
man.
and
Hold up.
follow the primary receiver
Hold up,
either.
fellas. Hold on 1 second, because we do got to get to these players. But Chris, I'm glad you put that up there because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why I don't think he's gonna fall off. It's because Jalen for the last 2 or 3 years has been out there saying it publicly. I think I'm the best cornerback in the league. And whether we want to give him that credit or not, I don't think he's the best in the league just yet. But I think he's rising up there, and I think he wants to be considered as the best cornerback in the league. And that's why I don't think paying him will make him fall off. I think he wants to. I think he wants a legacy of that. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
I like
me
that. I
too.
like that in him, man. Yeah, when I played, you couldn't tell me I wasn't the best cornerback in the nation. You
I'm
couldn't
gonna
tell me.
hope that you all are
Ain't got
right,
nothing about
man.
telling nobody nothing. He is the best cornerback in the nation. Like we're looking at it right there, 2023.
That's
He's the tippy top. He's a Pro Bowl cornerback.
so you
He
really think
deserves-
he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now? Like, come on,
He
guys.
had
what
the
I'm
best
gonna- here's
season.
what I'm- here's what
That's
I'm
He
gonna
not-
had
say.
the
this
best
is not-
overall season. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
guys, I think we got to raise our expectations a little bit.
If he's
Oh, here
not,
we
feel that
go.
if he's
way.
Here
not,
we go.
if he's not
I
the
really
best,
feel that way.
if
All
he's
right, hey,
not the
Chris, you can
best
take that
corner,
down, man. You can take that down because we got to go ahead and pivot, man, because we've been doing this for 45 minutes almost. Let's go ahead and get a station ID right quick before we get in there, if you don't mind, Chris.
Best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at Night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
Hey, before we get into these corners, I just want to remind you guys, just because we got to over 1K, that don't mean stop the effort, man. We got to keep pushing. You got to build us. You got to build us into the monster that you want us to be. You want us to be. You guys tell us all the time we the most underrated Bears podcast out there, and I think we are. I think you guys are right, but I don't think we ought to be underrated so long, man. I think we've been doing this almost a year, and we're so underrated. And I think how you do that is convince other people to give us those subs and push us to where we're regarded out there as one of the best podcasts. We know we're one of the best. We think we're the best. But you know what I mean? But we got to get those numbers up, man. We got to run those subs up. We got to get those likes up every show. So whoever is in the show right now, whether you're listening to it on the audio stream or whether you're watching it live or you're participating live in the chat, if you have not, step out, please, and make sure you hit the like if you do nothing else. And if you have not subscribed, please do that, man. That really helps us, man, in the direction that we're trying to go. But let's pivot on to what we came here for, fellas, because Jalen Johnson, man, I think he's earning his money, man. I think he's going to get it. But we'll talk about that on another show. It's coming up real soon because free agency is right around the corner. But let's get into these corners, man. Let's see what you got up first, Chris.
That Mr. Cooper DeJean from Iowa, Hawkeyes. Pretty good player. Cooper DeJean. It's DeJean. I thought it was DeJean too, but it's DeJean.
he goes at about 6'2", about 205, 210, somewhere in that department. Here's what I think about Cooper DeJean before we get all the way into him. My comp for him is Harrison. What's his name? Harrison at in Minnesota.
Smith.
Harrison Smith.
I think he's going to transition to safety because he's got the measurables, he's got the traits.
Yes.
I think he can play corner in the NFL, but I think he'll be a much better safety in the NFL than he would be a corner. And so my comp for him is Harrison Smith, probably the most fundamentally, technically sound corner in this draft, bar none. I think TJ Tampa is close, but I think this cat, there's a few of them close, but I think this cat has it all, man. There is no doubt in his potential. He's going to be a stud on the next level, whether it's corner or safety, but I think he's more of a safety than he is a corner. But let's check out the film. Okay, where is he at? Number three. Look for number 3.
You'll see.
Boom.
You can't miss him.
Extremely athletic, man. That's where I thought you were gonna say he's the most athletic out of all of the corners.
Oh
man.
no,
He is the most. This dude is the most. Dude, this dude is a freak.
He's
really
good, but he's the most athletic now.
He's not the most athletic. You're right. He's not the most athletic. You're right. I got another guy that's.
But he's a
I know who you're going to say, Samo.
Extremely freaky. This dude is extremely freaky and extremely rangy, man. I think him as a free safety is almost inevitable, man. Like you put this guy in the middle of the field, he can cover sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
So easily, man. Like he's extremely fast. He's explosive when he comes out of his breaks, man. Like I really like him.
What I love about him is he's never out of position. He's always in alignment to make the play. He is so disciplined. Iowa corners and safeties, their defensive backs, along right up there with Washington, are to me. You know, I look at defensive backs, man. To me, they develop the best defensive backs in the country.
What I like him most too is the fact that he tackles well. He tackles very well.
Yep.
I mean, and you know, for what we do, if you study Iowa, you study Washington, they are in line with our style of defense. They are pretty much what we do, and so they make the best Bears under the circumstances that we got. With Flus running this defense and what they're doing, this guy is an absolute fit. If they drafted him, I'm guaranteeing he's going to safety. Day one.
I can't argue with that at all because that's where I saw DeJean first. I was scouting safety, and he kind of popped up. That kid's all around. He is a weapon, punt return, kick return. He's all over the ball. He hits. He tackles well. Reads a quarterback's eyes. There's only one thing that I think we can all say about his game that doesn't jump out, and that's just raw speed. I'm not sure if he's the fastest guy out there. Outside of that, I think he's a complete safety or a complete corner. Period.
He plays cerebral.
Very cerebral.
He plays the fastest. He definitely plays the fastest, I think.
He does play fast. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He
his
plays
recovery
fast.
speed, like everything, man. And he's built like a brick house, man. And that's what I meant about him being the most athletic, man. I'm pretty sure he's probably one of Bruce Feldman's freaks, man, because to be that big and that explosive and athletic and fast and able to move and flip his hips the way that he can, I'm pretty sure he's on the top of one of that Feldman's freaks list.
Very disciplined, never seems to be out of position at any time. He's very heady, very intelligent.
Cerebral.
Yeah.
Reads angles very well.
You talk about a zone concept, a zone-based concept. He is the epitome of what you want. You know, because it's all about reading and having proper alignment, taking proper angles, and just knowing space and time. Basically, that's all it is. You got to be properly aligned, know your space, know what's in your space, and be able to break on things at a timely fashion. He does it all at an A++ level. That's how good he is in a man-to-man. You know, a defense that's probably 70-75% man-to-man. He probably wouldn't fare that well because eventually he's going to get exposed because he's a big dude. But if you're playing in a zone concept, base concept, This dude is what you want, whether it's corner or safety. I think he's just a hell of a defensive back, man. All right, let's get to the next guy.
All right, we got Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. He's 6'1", 180. He's the son of Kwame Lassiter, who played 10 seasons in the NFL with 3 different teams. So you guys know I like NFL prospects that come from good lineage, and this young man definitely has some.
Don't play the video just yet. Hold on with the video. Let me tell you something about Kamari Lassiter. My comp for him, and I just want to see if you guys see what I'm seeing, and you can tell me after the video. But I see Jack Rabbit Jenkins, Janoris Jenkins, and why he probably, I don't know how well he would fit, because Georgia plays a lot of man-to-man coverage, and he does it well, and probably one of the top 3 man-to-man cover corners in the draft. I think he might be up there 1, 2, or 3 in coverage, man. But Jack Rabbit Jenkins, that's all I see. I mean, he is sticky. When I say sticky, he's on you like flies on SHIT. He is good in man coverage, I'm telling you. But go ahead.
I think he used to play wide receiver, and I see Jalen Johnson. I honestly see a Jalen Johnson type guy, man. He's extremely sticky in coverage, will come up and tackle in run games. He's a little bit more athletic than Jalen Johnson, but I see Jalen.
Look at that break on it. Twitchy. That's called twitch right there. Twitchy. That's what they talking about when they say twitch. Look how sticky he is.
Extremely sticky, but he doesn't get the interceptions. He's just like Jalen.
That's the only problem I have with him.
That's that one right there.
He can't catch the ball, but he's always there to knock the ball down. That's Jalen Johnson play. We've seen that play from Jalen Johnson plenty of times.
It's just right there in your hip pocket, man. He's just like Jack Rabbit, man.
Good feet.
Samo with the same results too.
Yep, same results. He's running the route with these receivers, man. It's like he's I think he used to play wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
And I love how he flip his hips.
Yeah.
Man, I wish we can do an all 22 on him. He is impressive in man coverage, man. I just wish, I wish we played more man coverage, man, because we can always use a dude like him. I mean, this guy is extremely sticky. I mean, when you want to throw a ball somewhere and you see a DB right there in the hip pocket of your receiver, you're more prone than not to not go there, man. I mean, you don't really want to go there because he's right there in his pocket. This dude, if you notice him on film, if you study him on film, this dude stays in the pocket of the receiver. Extremely sticky. I can't really find a whole lot of flaws in his coverage because he's a man corner, man. He's technically sound.
Look,
and great corner.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I have a dear friend whose son plays at Georgia. He plays receiver, so he gets to see Kamari on a daily basis, and what they call him is lockdown. Period. That's what they consider Kamari. They consider him locked down. Mm-hmm. So
tough, man. That boy is tough, man. I think he's be honest with you. When I start looking at corners, I start measuring them as far as what are you, a man corner, or what's your strength? Man coverage or zone coverage? Which one is it? When it comes to man coverage, he's at the top of the heap by far, man. I mean, ain't too many corners in this draft tougher than him at man coverage. He's just really good at what he does. So let's get to the next guy.
All right, we got JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. 6'1", 195. Grandmother named him Kool-Aid because he had a smile like the Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah,
and the Kool-Aid
reminded me more of Jalen than anybody. If I had
really,
Kool-Aid sticky too. Kool-Aid's very, very sticky. He's probably more of a ball guy than Jalen was coming out of the draft. Yeah. But Kool-Aid is sticky as well, man. They don't call him Kool-Aid for nothing. You know what I mean? He's sticky. He got a lot of. Hey, I'm telling you, let's just check him out. 6'1", 195.
I love the name.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's extremely smooth, man. I like his demeanor too, man, out there. Like when the ball arrives, you know how some cornerbacks get a little anxious, man. He just sticking those hands in there. He knocking the ball out. He getting his hands on the ball. Some guys get a little grabby when they see the ball coming. No, he's gonna go after the ball, man. gonna either make a play on the ball or he knocking the ball out. And he's like you say, he is sticky. He's always gonna be in position to do so too. He's
He
definitely one of
attacked.
the top
Mm,
corner.
mm, mm.
He
Great
attacks the
timing,
ball.
man.
I mean, he's
Very
so
great
twitchy.
timing. His timing is excellent, man.
That boy's so twitched up, man. His first step is amazing. When he breaks on something, he breaks. That looked a lot like Terrell Smith, didn't it?
Yeah.
That looked,
Reads
hey,
the quarterback well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, Bama don't play too much zone, man. Bama don't play a whole lot of zone unless they're in trouble.
No, brother. No. Let's get at it. That's what
Yeah.
they believe in getting in your jersey. Come on, man. We gonna play some football today. Let's get at it.
But if you notice, man, if y'all notice, think about this for a second. How many Bama corners are starting right now in the league? How many Georgia corners are starting right now in the league? You got to think about it, don't you?
They produce the most, yeah.
No, I'm not seeing a whole lot of them.
No, they right
Top of the
now
draft.
as far as Bama defense, you're seeing a lot more of the D linemen and the linebackers than you are their secondary. Now their secondary guys were coming out real heavy a few years back, but I think we might start seeing a reemergence of that.
Washington's the
They're
ones
very.
putting out the
I think
DBs.
I think a lot of them. I think a lot of them are running into injury bugs because
Yeah.
Alabama and Georgia they teach their guys to be very aggressive tacklers, and they're coming into the league pretty banged up. And the ones that I see that are faring better than your average DB in the league right now out of the SEC is probably Clemson. The Clemson DBs are doing a little bit better, but
Yeah, but they
Alabama,
have a first round DB every year, man. Alabama and Georgia, they produce DBs every year. They put a first round. They have a first round guy. It seems
Alabama
like
has
one of those guys.
five corners. I'm sorry, 7 corners in the league right now.
how many of them starting though?
Let me see. Marlon Humphrey is starting. Trevon Diggs is starting. Patrick Surtain is starting.
All dogs.
Hold on.
Those are good DBs, man.
Yeah, those are pretty good
Yes.
ones.
The best
Josh
of the
Job
best.
is not. Eli Ricks is on the second team. Levi Wallace is not. So you've got those that I just mentioned that are starting.
LSU is
I'm
a
just
far
gonna
behind.
say
He does
Kool-Aid.
the SEC.
Kool-Aid gets his hand in between the catch area all the time. That was the one thing that jumped out to me. Yeah, he tracks the ball. Yeah, he tracks the quarterback. But if the ball's coming into a receiver under any pretenses, he's trying to get his hands in that catch area.
Yeah.
And, you know, as a DB,
Easily.
you can't go wrong doing so. He's
Yep.
solid, man. I
He
like
is
this.
solid. And he does it with a calm demeanor too. Like he doesn't get all fidgety and grabby, you know, like we experienced with Tyreek Stevenson
Tariq.
earlier this year
Yeah,
when
you're
the
right.
ball was coming, you know, Tyreek got a little grabby and got a little anxious. Never seen that from him, man.
No.
And yet that's like
Discipline,
that's
very
really special.
disciplined.
A lot of
And we're
discipline.
talking
Yeah.
surefire catches, right? Like surefire catch, he's getting his hands in here, and it's a problem. Good luck bringing that ball in. He's good.
All right,
And
let's
he's
check out-
extremely physical too. He's a physical dude too. He'll come up
Very physical. No fronting on the tackles. No fronting.
None.
All right.
Next guy.
Here we go with Kyrie Jackson. Oregon State. He's 6'3", 195. Previously played for Alabama. Got in the transfer portal and played at Oregon. 6'3", got good length.
Hey, he's 6'3", 195. I think he's really officially listed at 2. I think 2 even. But really, really long. My comp for him is Dominique Rogers-Cromartie, if anybody remembers him. From I think he got most of his pub and fame from Giants.
From the
DRC.
That's Antonio
Yeah.
Cromartie.
Oh, you
That's
think,
Antonio.
Yeah, he
Dominic
played
Rogers.
with the Cardinals also later in his career.
Antonio and what is his name? Dominique Rogers-Cromartie. Very, very, very sticky, man. Very, very much a ball hawk. Always getting his hands on ball. I mean, he just you'll see. Let's just go ahead and play it. You will see what I'm talking about. DRC right here. Watch how twitchy he is. Boom. Once he breaks on something, boom, it's over.
That's a tackle.
and he breaks on something. I mean, all these guys are twitchy, but this dude is extremely.
He jumped out as well.
I mean, extremely twitchy. Look how sticky he is.
Man, he's on that.
See, that was
He's lengthy like Dominique Rogers-Cromartie, sticky, always around the ball, just like him, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of an athlete, man. Just a hell of an athlete.
He can tackle.
Oh yeah, that's what I think about him. I think he's a hell of an athlete, but out of the list, I think he's the rawest of the guys off this list. I think that this was his first year really having some decent production, and then if you look at the interception that he did have, they were just opportunistic plays where there were overthrows and things like that. So but as far as his athleticism, I think he's extremely athletic, man. And I think that there's a place for him in this league. I just think that he needs to be coached up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised he came out. I'm surprised he decided to come out this year. But as far as athleticism and pure speed and explosiveness, he has all of that. So maybe, agents or somebody got in his ear and say, hey, you're going high, man, just because of your size and athleticism. So you may as well come on out and get in the right situation.
Well, he's ready. I just think I think he's ready in every phase except for his body. I think his body. He's gonna have to. He's a thin 6'3", 195.
Yeah, he'll probably add another 10 pounds at some point.
I think him getting out is the right time. I think if he can go to a team that he's not thrust into action right away, it give him time to put that 7 to 10 pounds on him in the weight room and really give his body a little bit more support. So when it comes to the tackling phase of the game, he's not out there getting beat up all the time. But I think he's got everything he needs. Ain't no need for a guy that athletic, that technically sound, that twitchy to stay in college no more than he needs to. Get on out and go make your money. I think he's going to be a stud. It just might take a year and a half, maybe 2 years before his body gets to where it needs to get to.
Do you see where at some point maybe he might get to the level of like Sauce?
Oh, I mean, if Sauce can do it, I think he's more athletic than Sauce.
A lot more athletic.
That's why I threw that name out there. That's why I threw that name out there.
Sauce weighs about 170.
Yeah, he about that same.
Soaking wet.
Yeah, he's bigger than Sauce, man.
I think Sauce is a little.
I think he's way more athletic than Sauce too. Like I think he just needs those. Like I just think he needs refinement. Once he gets refinement, he's tight. Like if he came with John Hoke, man, please, he'll turn out to be a dog.
Yes, sir.
Kyrie Jackson.
This is a guy we have a chance at getting too. I think because he may slip to like the second or third day. This is the guy we actually have a chance at getting.
I like this comment, man. Joseph Matuzak said he's really good at wrangling legs. Very long, might be a really good free safety at that size and speed. You know what? That's a good point too.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's a good point too. But I do like the fact
interesting look.
He's not trying to boom everybody. He's rapping. He's getting to the ball and he's rapping the ball, wrapping legs up, and he's not trying to get that wild shot on everybody that gets the crowd going. That was my problem.
Yeah, I do too, Sam. I appreciate tackling. We learned that in 8th grade, but when I learned how to read.
That was my problem. When I was looking for those shots when I got used to that in high school, laying people out, getting that crowd response. But he gets to the ball and it's over. He's wrapping you up, taking the right angle, and it's over. And if he can't get you down, he's holding you for the next person. Hold him up. All right, let's get to the next guy.
Man, y'all dirty, man. All right, Mike Sanderstill out of Michigan started his career as a wide receiver. Actually played 2 years there, and then they moved him in 2022 to cornerback, and he has excelled since.
I think they are lying about 5'10", 182. I think he's a bit of 5'7", 5'8",
not very big.
I think he's not. Oh boy, is this cat tough, man.
He is, man. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, man, I like him, man. He likes to get feisty, man.
I mean,
like a kids, he's Jamaican.
He's like
what?
He's like Jamaican, born in Port-au-Prince. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Really? I never heard of no Sanderstill in Jamaica.
Wait. He's Haitian. I'm sorry. He's from Port-au-Prince.
Oh man, the wrong island, bro. We have problems.
I'm sorry.
He said we got problems.
Let's keep it moving now. He's tough, man. I mean, about
He is.
5'7", about 175 maybe, and I think that's a reach. But boy, is he tough. Why I added him to it? Because he's just so good at what he does, and I think we may be looking at backfilling that nickel spot. I think we play some musical chairs at that position this year, man. We signed some guys. We got some practice squad guys. I think that might be a position that you guys may be surprised that they address in the draft. I think it's quite a possibility. If there's quite a few nickels, man. There's some guys on my list that didn't make this list, but because they're nickel guys. But I had to get at least one on here, and I think he might be one of the best there. So let's just check out Mike.
One of the toughest and smartest players.
Yeah, Mike's really good, y'all.
I mean, so tough, man. They're so tough.
Instinctual. I didn't really notice how. Okay, yeah, he's probably about 5'7".
He is 5'5" now.
He's probably about 5'7".
Hey.
Mike put the heat on, though.
That's Zay Flowers' twin. He just like to hit.
He looks like Tariq Cohen. He's so cute.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
He's one of the toughest players in college football, though, man. You can't deny that.
Around. I mean, he is a stick of dynamite, is what he is.
Yeah, he'll come down on the blitz.
See ya.
I think when you get a little bit rich and you have opportunity in the draft, and they do what we think that they're gonna do is accumulate picks. I think you have an opportunity to grab a guy like Mikey, and you feel like you need depth and development at nickel, because Kyler is a stud, but Kyler needs a backup too. Somebody that's going to be there, a roster spot that you don't have to worry about. This little dude, man, I was like, I ain't no way I can't put this dude on the list. I know he's small. I know we always talk about size, length, and speed. This dude is just really good at what he does, man. I mean, a nickel cornerback has to have certain traits to him. You got to be really twitchy, you got to be quick-footed, and you got to be tough. And he's everything with a bag of chips, man. He's all of that. Mm-hmm. So,
man, I just realized how small he was.
Go ahead, kids.
I'm just saying, I'm conflicted now. I really like Mike. I think Mike's a dog all day long, and I'm just kind of now realizing that he's like it would be like having Tariq Cohen out there.
Well, he reminds me a lot of Tim Jennings. Remember Tim Jennings?
I just said that.
Yeah, okay, that's a good comment.
Go ahead, Brian. Brian, go ahead. Get in there, man.
No, I was thinking Tim Jennings too. But those numbers, regardless of his size, the guy's producing.
Right, man. Absolutely.
There's sometimes where you get, the prototype, and then there's guys that don't fit the prototype, but they're just productive as all get out. And that's what that kid is.
He reminds me of one of those little French bulldogs that think they can fight every dog. He's tough, man. He don't back down from nothing, man. He hit number 32 right in the mouth, and that's a big dude from Ohio State. Did y'all see that hit? I mean, he hit that right. That dude's almost twice his size, man. He just ran right through him, man. I mean, good Lord, that dude's tough. I love Mikey. I can't say his last name, but I love Mikey, man. I really do.
Sam is still. It makes sense now that you tell me he's from Haiti. Anyways, get your damn island straight, Chris.
Hey, man, it was somewhere.
He didn't say Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, somewhere beneath Florida. I didn't know. All right, here we go.
Lito Shepherd, good one.
It's in the same water.
Nate Wiggins, guys. Here's your Clemson corner. I like this guy too. He's got some length on him. I think what Dabble said he's one of his favorite players.
I'm gonna tell you something. Nate Wiggins, 6'2", 185. I'm gonna start now. Everything else about this cat is A1. You can't really find a flaw in him. But me being a corner and knowing what technique it's supposed to be, and I look at his, and I can tell you right now he's gonna get spun around quite a bit in the NFL if he doesn't get this one thing corrected as he's going into the NFL. Watch closely how high he is. And even when he's twisting and wheeling and running with a receiver, watch when he turns, he's always standing up high. You'll notice that right away. But let's check him out.
Dabo said he was immature when he came in, but he loves him going out.
Number 2, down at the bottom there. No, he's up at the top. He's quick as a cat now. Quick as a cat. But just if I don't know if you got this in the video, but boy, oh boy, this dude stands up too high too much. But he's gonna be good once he refines that. He's got to get down a little bit lower.
Boom! Holy smokes! Took the helmet off too.
Yeah, when he's lucky to get a penalty going in with his head.
Watch him. He's down at the bottom. Watch him get high right away. See how high he got?
Yeah.
Good, right up. That's a no-no when you're playing.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Dion would cuss him out.
You got to keep it down, man, because you're gonna get spun around and you're gonna lose the ball because people know that the receivers in the league are gonna know he's a high cornerback, so they're gonna put extra moves on him, force him into position, and he's gonna be trying to figure out which way to turn because he's sitting. I mean, because he's standing so high and not sitting, he's not gonna be able to wheel in time, and he's gonna get lost. And so right away they're gonna take advantage of him if he doesn't get that corrected right away. But that's an easy fix. It's a little muscle memory to it. But once he learns how to do that back pedal with his bottom down a little bit like he's sitting in the chair and wheel when he's turning and running with the receiver, he's going to be a really good cornerback, man. He's top 5 in this draft, period. I mean, he's just got to get that cleaned up right away.
Yeah, you're right. He loses position when he goes to flip his hips because of that, man. And he's always like a little step behind, but he has such long arms that he makes up for it, man. Like his arms, that's one thing that stood out to me. Like he'll be a step behind the receiver, but he's knocking the ball out every time. You know what I mean? Because he has those long arms, he knows where to reach. He's looking for the hand. So I think he's mastered like that technique a little bit. But you're absolutely right, man. It'll be helpful for him to get in better position and just use better discipline with his technique. And like another guy that, a guy like John Hope would love to get his hands on, I'm sure.
He reminds me, Samuel, of Antonio Cromartie. But Antonio Cromartie, at first when he first came into the league, he was a really, really high playing cornerback. But if you watch the progression of his career, working with the right coach, man, you start noticing that he sat and he was able to break on balls a whole lot easier. He was getting to interceptions probably the second half of his career a whole lot more than he did in his first half career. And that's just off of technique change. You just get coached up, man. You cannot overemphasize how important coaching is, especially on that level when dudes are so quick and so fast and have so many different ways to release on route combinations, man. You got to stay low so you can break on this stuff. But that was my only problem with him, man. Other than that, I think he's a top 5 corner in this draft.
I agree. He's very, very instinctual. He's got good eyes. On the play that we just watched, he's standing high, you're right. And as he comes back, his eyes are on the quarterback the entire time. As soon as there's pressure, he leaves the route. So, I know you're saying he's playing high, but he was playing the quarterback as opposed to the receiver on the route.
There's certain things you can get away with when your athleticism is more elite than everybody else's. He'll find out pretty quickly on the next level. Everybody's athleticism is that.
Exactly. And that's what's going to be the difference. And that's where the difference will come up.
All right, let's get to the next fellow.
All right, Quinyon Mitchell played at smaller school Toledo. Hey guys, this is a name I kept hearing during the Senior Bowl.
I like this young man.
Yeah, and he's shot up a lot of the mock big boards on the internet as a result of that, and so it caused me to look at him. He's pretty smooth.
One of my favorites as well.
6 foot. He's probably more 200 than 196. He's a pretty good sized corner, man. My comp for him was really Darrelle Revis because of how he was always in position and in that hip pocket to make a
always around the ball, man.
Always
around the ball.
Yeah.
Good instincts, good tackler, physical.
It will talk. I seen him talking, barking out there a little bit, man. I like the demeanor. I like the toughness.
Yeah, I like that
feistiness. Run game. I love that feistiness he plays with, man. I think like this is actually one of I struggle with who's my favorite. I think that him and another guy are about 1A and 1B. 1A and 1B for sure. But
I'm with you on that one, Samo. I'm with you on that one.
His field awareness, I thought, was absolutely elite for a kid his age, man. Just to be, I mean, the way he was able to turn, like, you get taught as a DB, as a corner, you really got to react to the receiver. If you see the receiver looking up, you turn wheel and start getting ready to make your play on the ball, because he's gonna tell you exactly what's going on when he turns and looks. This dude's got it down to a science, which is why I think Darrell Revis mastered route combinations, and it was able to jump on balls a whole lot quicker than your average cornerback. I think this dude is about halfway where Darrell Revis ended up being already. I think he's that good, man. So wherever he goes, he's going to be a standout.
absolutely, I think he's gonna be a better pro
I do too.
because go ahead.
Darrell
No,
Revis is pretty damn tough now.
Yeah, I really
no.
like his technique, man. I think he's very technically sound, man. I was just highly impressed watching this kid. I was like, oh my god, he jumped off the screen at me, man. I was like, this guy here, you gonna hear his name. You gonna hear his name a lot.
Breaking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Darrell Reeves is one of the best of all time. I wasn't saying better than Darrell Reeves. I'm saying
It's a big
I think he'll
comp,
be
man. It's a
even
big
better
comp.
as a pro than he was in college, man. Because you think about it, the level of talent he's playing right now is not very high, and the level of coaching that he's receiving is not very high coming out of Toledo, as opposed to these guys who played at
Boom.
Alabama and all these SEC schools. So when he gets out of school, man, and he goes into one of these good NFL great training programs, and really learns how to study the game the way that NFL players do, man, he's gonna be even better, man. He's gonna be a dog, I think, man.
Don't be
He could turn
surprised.
out to be a top corner in the league.
Don't be surprised in a couple of years he's sitting in the Pro Bowl, man. I think
Absolutely.
he's got the physical measurables, the traits. He's technically he's gonna be. I would love to coach him, man. Because I could tell a dude like him coming from a small school like that. Everybody's probably looking down on, man, you from here. You know how people are, man. Want to talk about where you from? You ain't played that nobody, and then he's gonna get to the league with that kind of kind of mentality, like, oh, okay, just because I'm from UT, I'm this or that. Okay, I'm gonna be better than all y'all. So a guy like him, he's gonna come in hungry. I would love to coach him with that size, that quickness, man, and his ability to be able to, the spatial awareness, I think, is overlooked, man, because the timing of when he knows to react to balls. It's only a certain amount of time before you got to know to turn and start looking for the ball, right? You got 1001, 1002, 1003, and you need to start looking around. I don't care if you're in college or NFL, you need to start looking for that ball. And he just got it, man. I'm telling you, this dude's gonna be a stud on the next level.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. Then there's a connection too, man, to the Bears, guys. Let's not forget that, man. I'm pretty sure Matt Eberflus loves this guy. He's coming from his alma mater at Toledo. So I'm sure he's known about this dude for a
Yes,
long
sir.
time, So
Yes,
that's another
sir.
reason why I'm thinking like,
I
hey,
didn't even
if
think
it
about
doesn't
that,
work
man.
out in one situation with Jalen, like this is a perfect guy to replace Jalen. But you have to draft him a lot earlier in the draft. But this dude is going to be a dog, man. He's going to be a dog in the NFL.
We're not replacing Jalen.
One of these,
I know. I'm just saying.
one of these cats.
Thank you, Chris.
Hypothetically,
I'm out of it.
hypothetically speaking, all
Chris,
right.
if you can do me a favor, it's a couple of these cats. I think Mikey might be from, I don't know. Mikey might be from the area. Maybe Kyrie Jackson or Quinyon Mitchell. One of those three, or 2 or 3 of those dudes are from the area, man. They from the area. So just put that out there too. But let's get to the next guy.
All right. Redshirt sophomore, Terry and Arnold. First team All-American at Alabama this year. At 5 INTs, 40 solo. At one time was rated the top CB in the draft.
I mean, some really good sized corners coming out this year.
Yes, sir.
Really
Some
good.
numbers.
I love this dude.
Man, look.
This is my favorite right here.
Carry on Arnold.
Oh,
Carry on Arnold might be the best man coverage corner in the draft.
Yeah.
Man,
Now,
man.
I think he barely beats out Kamari Latson, just barely. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's a little bit more technically clean than Kamari. I think he's a little bit more disciplined than Kamari. Kamari's pretty disciplined, but this cat
Better
right here,
production.
I think
Man.
he's better. I think he's better than Kool-Aid. I think he's gonna have
Yeah,
a
This
he is. He's
this
better
boy
than
here,
Kool-Aid.
this boy's a dog.
He is. And he's versatile, man. The dude can play outside just as good as he plays in the slot, too, man, at the nickelback position.
Yeah,
And he returns kicks, man. Like, dude is a dog, man. This dude is and extremely athletic, man. He did the same flip that we've been watching Kyler Gordon do. That crazy flip just off a vertical and landing on his feet. Like, I've seen this dude do that after games plenty of times. It's just like this dude is a freak athlete, extremely sticky, like Nomad says, a ball hawk, gets his hands on the ball. Like, he's gonna be a dog, man. He's gonna be a weapon, and he can blitz. I've seen him blitz too, come off the edge and lay
yeah.
some quarterbacks down.
You know my comp for him real quick, Chris, before you do the video. My comp for him is gonna surprise you guys, but if you look closely, you'll see exactly what I mean. The way he plays around the ball, the way he breaks on balls, and his discipline is just so unique for a guy his age and at that, at the position that he's in. College guys are getting so much more refined. I mean, my comp for him is Asante Samuel Sr.
Yeah,
Mm.
and
Okay.
his instincts are off the charts, man.
Off the charts.
So let's check him out.
You right about that. Off the charts. Like, he's a weapon, man. He's a weapon on defense to me.
Break. That's Asante Samuel right there. Break. And he just broke on that thing and it closed it. Watch him break on it and close it. Boom. It's over. He really breaks on balls well. He's extremely twitchy, man.
Yep.
Extremely twitchy.
Yeah.
That's Asante Samuel right there. I wish I had Asante Samuel on this show right now, and I asked him. He wouldn't be able to deny it because he plays exactly like Asante Samuel Sr. His son's pretty tough too, but not as good as his dad.
And you know what I like about him too? If the ball's in the area, in his area, he feel like it's his football.
He's coming down with it. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
turns to the receiver. He turns to the receiver at that point. Like, okay, I'm going for the ball.
He was one of the funner DBs to really watch because I was so when it started, I had my list and everybody talking about Kool-Aid, and I couldn't wait to sit down and watch Kool-Aid, and Kool-Aid was really good. I had nothing to really complain about with Kool-Aid, but what shocked me was this cat on the other side of the ball. I was just like, oh my God. And then more and more I watched the tape, I was just like, man, he's tougher than Kool-Aid. So they had the top two corners in the country.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, the best two corner combo in the country, man, by far. I think these two dudes are more technically advanced as a combo. And I don't know if I've seen one this tough in a long time.
Well, if you think about it, them two guys alone, man, saved them a couple times in some games, brother. Them boys them some bad boys, man. Oh my God.
I don't know. It's tough, man. I mean, he's a particularly a man corner. He really excels in man, but his instinct and his twitch will transition well to zone defense. In fact, if he landed on a team that was a zone-based team, I think he'd end up with more stats as far as turnovers and PBQs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Than he would as a man corner, because I'm telling you, his twitch, his instincts, and just the way he's always around the ball, dude. That dude would have his hands on so many balls and zone concepts. I mean, just raw, man. I mean, he is raw with it, man. And I would love to see him on this team. I mean, pure corner, man. He's a pure cornerback, man.
He is. That he is. I don't think we're gonna get a chance to get that dude right there, man. He's going high. He might be the first one off the board, man. I think arguably he definitely will be one of the top three.
Depends on who's drafting it. If it's man-based concepts that draft and looking for a corner early, yeah, he's gonna be one of the first ones off. But if it's zone, I still think he might be one of the first few off. So I don't think he's getting out the first round. I don't think he's getting out the first 25 to be quite
No,
frank.
I think he's top 25. Yeah.
Yeah, he's that good, man. He is really.
Versatility stands out too, man. Like I said, playing NBA, the ability to play inside and out. It's hard to find good nickelbacks in the NFL. He can play both of those positions. So if you got a team where you have two studs or two studs on the outside, and you can put this guy on the inside, or you can put him on the outside and then move him inside when you go into your sub packages, and let him start in both positions. Like I think that's something you're gonna see a lot coming from him. Like this dude's gonna be a weapon.
Hey, y'all ever watch some of these videos with these so-called these YouTube scouts that don't scout for nobody, but they scouts and want to break down with all these PFF rankings and all these stats and all these old measurables. I'm watching dudes on when I get to watching the all 22, I get to watching highlights and breakdowns and scouting, what the scouting profile says about guys and stuff. I'm watching these guys. I'm like, you guys really fantasize. I mean, you really see yourself as some kind of real scout. It's like they look for, they're looking. You think you gotta find something wrong with somebody? What if it ain't shit wrong with him? What if it ain't nothing wrong with him? What if he is absolutely good at what he's doing, but you just, for the sake of I gotta look like and sound like some kind of NFL scout, I gotta try to find something wrong with your ass.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That is really aggravating watching some of these dudes do that. Especially dudes from PFF and some of these other sites that do that kind of stuff. I was like, man, if I could reach through the screen, I'd slap the shit out you, man. Shut up. Ain't nothing wrong with that dude's game, man. I mean, some of the stuff that people say they really reach and really make it sound like, oh, he's gonna fall down boards because of this, man. Dude, these dudes are really good in the college, man. They are really good, man. These guys that we have on this list are extremely good at what they do. So don't be listening to all that other crap out there. If you listen to me and you listen to us closely, we have not said a whole lot of down things about any of these guys because it's not a whole lot to really complain about. There's been a couple things for a couple of guys, but we're not nitpicking and trying to find reasons to, pull their stock down. No, man, these dudes are really good, man. So the hell with all them dudes out there with all that.
Well, you know what? No, man. Sometimes, man, you got some guys out there, man, that try really hard to sound intelligent instead of just, hey, man, just talk ball.
Yeah, they can go.
And you got some guys out there that scout good too, that aren't professional scouts. There's some guys that call it right too. So
we're one of them. We're one of those places that do it right.
All right. Here's your boy.
Now, this guy right here, let me tell y'all something, man. This dude came into did you get that video, Chris?
I get everything, man.
All right, let's start with that. Let's just give him an idea of what we're dealing with here. One more time. Did you see where that dude's head was at?
What is his vertical? About 43?
Oh, he gonna jump over 40.
I'm saying he looked like he got about a 43 inch
I
vertical.
saw a 38 was what I saw online. I don't know how accurate that is.
Oh, come on, no, brother. That's higher than a 38. Come on.
He's gonna jump well over 40. I guarantee you that.
One more time, Chris.
You gonna get it. That's true.
He's 6'2", and his head's almost even with the rim. So
it was even with the rim. It was absolutely even with the rim. That's some. Hey, this dude right here is a freak athlete. Not only that, now I'm just going to remind you. Do me a favor, everybody that's listening to us right now and watching us right now. If you want to do yourself a favor and really go check out, just really give yourself a detailed, some time to really detail this dude's tape, man. You talking about fun? This cat right here, man, is a stud, and he's exactly what Eberflus would be looking for. They play in a zone-based concept, and that's where he flourishes. He can play man-to-man just as well as he plays zone, but you put this dude in the zone, and with his athleticism and his elite ability to be able to lead, explode on balls and be as twitchy as he is for a dude 6'2", 200 pounds, it's incredible. I'm telling you, this cat is incredible to watch. So just let me shut up for a minute and just let you guys kind of see what I'm talking about. I got another thing to say. This cat, he's extra good. He's extra good. You know why? It's because he came to Iowa State as a receiver. And so he understands those route
Oh,
concepts. He runs routes for people.
and he can catch the ball.
Yes. He's got hands like an MF.
But you know what I also like? I like guys who play multiple sports.
Whew.
Guys
Did you
that
see
play
that?
basketball, guys that play baseball, and then they play football as well. I like those type of
Look at this, though.
guys.
Look at this, man. Look at him close on that.
Ooh, hello.
It's time to go get that
I
breathing.
second that big time, Keith.
Clean that snot locker.
TJ Tampa. TJ Tampa is what I consider all around, and when I'm talking about man, zone base, twitch, athleticism, spatial awareness, technicalities, all of it. He is better than all of them. When you combine it all, I think a close second, in my opinion, is probably Terrion Arnold and Cooper DeJean. Second, 2, 3. I think Cooper DeJean is technically better than all of them, but the whole kit and caboodle, TJ Tampa is the guy. He's better than all of them.
You like T? That's your favorite. That's your favorite TJ. I like TJ a lot, man. TJ gonna be a dog.
Got the
He's
coolest name.
What's that? The coolest
Definitely
name,
got the
TJ
coolest
Tampa.
name, TJ Tampa. Private Eye.
How can you not ball with a name like TJ Tampa? Come on,
TJ.
man.
Hey, the dude is gonna be a dog, man, in the league, man. He coming in and he's gonna make a name for himself. I don't think enough people know about him. I don't think they talking about him enough. To be honest, I think this is like Nomad said, one of those guys that's just flying under the radar a little bit, but he can cover in man and in zone, man. And he's tough, he's physical to be so he don't have a big frame, but man,
Shit, he's 6'2", 200.
no, I mean like, but he looks slim on that. When you see his picture, he looks extremely slim. He don't have a lot of mass. He don't have a lot of mass, but he comes and he brings and he's gonna bring it, man. He's hitting. He out there thumping.
Man, this dude, I'm telling you, man, this dude, the more and more I'm watching these corners and I'm looking at them, I'm liking a whole bunch of them. And I'm, a little bit mid on some of them too. And then I get to this guy, I'm telling you, man, every now and again, I get to a player, man, and I feel the need to stand up on the table for him. And I trust my instincts, man. I see stuff in a guy, man. I'm not saying that what I say has to be absolute. Everybody can feel any kind of way they feel about whoever we put on display tonight. What I say might not be exactly what ends up being the truth. But I feel good when I say that this cat is all around better than all of them as far as his intangibles, twitch, spatial awareness, ball, just his ability to get to the ball and actually take the ball. And Cooper DeJean is technically better than all of them on that aspect of it. But this dude has it all, man. This is a freak. This dude should have been on the freaks list, man. I mean, he is straight up freaky, man. But dude, 6'2", 200, moving like he moves, man. This is a perfect fit for Chicago. And I know that if I walked in Ryan Poles' office or Bruce's office and they ranking the DBs and the corners, I'm telling you, he's at the top of that list. He's got everything they want. His arms are long as shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah, really long arms, man, and that's gonna help him out a lot. Like you said, that's the length that Bruce covets, man. He's extremely athletic, like you said. Like there's not a lot wrong with it that you can even say that you can see wrong with this dude ever. Like I think he's gonna be a great player in the league. Like I think he's gonna come in immediately and be a starter like Stevenson was, man, and just ball out.
Let's address, because Joseph Matuzak says this. He says a good corner needs to be able to be sticky when they need, and wrap up when tackling. Hits are fun, but easier to recover from as a shifty runner. I mean, I tried to find something watching him on tape that I didn't like. Only thing that I could say about him that I didn't really like is sometimes he might overrun a play, overrun a ball carrier, and not really.
That's a
That's the
few
only thing.
guys.
That's
Yeah.
something.
That's gonna happen. That's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
it's so
Yeah.
minuscule that I can
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, over pursuing, but just overly aggressive, and that's gonna happen. Like,
Sometimes he laid out a little too early when trying to get to a ball. Let's say he was breaking on somebody like a Bucky Irvin, who is really shifty, one of those really shifty guys, and he broke on the ball and was going to pursue the tackle. He may have laid out, and sometimes the coaches will tell you, if you lay out, you just expose yourself. But sometimes you feel like you need to kind of put that player that you're going after on pause. Okay, you want to go ahead, kid? Want to mess with that?
Here's a question, Chop Kids, all y'all. If we franchise trade JJ, as in Jalen Johnson, does that top cornerback come into play in the draft with our top 2 picks? It's a great question. I don't really want to even touch this question. I'm gonna put this question at the guy who probably out of the 5 of us wants to see Jalen Johnson gone the most.
man, I don't want to see him gone, man. I'm
I
not
ain't
saying.
you exactly who he was.
I didn't say I want to see him gone, man. I say I don't want to break the bank.
I didn't say any names, dog. I didn't say no names. I didn't
Throw him
say
under
no-
the bus.
You came out. You knew exactly who I was talking about. But go ahead. Answer the.
Nah, man. If it got into a situation where if we got ourselves into a situation where we franchise him and he demands a trade, and then you have a trade offer that someone says, "Hey, I'll give you a late 1 or early 2 for Jalen right now," then yeah, of course you're gonna draft one of these guys, man. I think all of these guys come into play at 9. Then at that point, it's like, well, we trade back a little bit and then pick up one of those guys. So yeah, the turn.
Hey man, you got to lay off Jalen, man, because Jalen
Hey,
he did everything. Like I remember when we started talking about this, Samo. Now when we first started doing shows, I remember us having this conversation, and we said, and you was just like, I don't know, Jalen. I think we seen Jalen ceiling. I was just like, nah, man, I think he got more to offer because he was only a year into the concept. He had been playing man with Vic the whole time for the most part. He didn't play that much zone when Vic was here. He was tacked up in man a whole bunch. Now he got a chance to get ingrained into this zone concept. I knew that he had more to offer because he had to understand the rules first. You got to understand the rules of this first. And once he got them, and then they got an extra, another pass rusher, that just helped everything out. So I just knew he had a bigger ceiling than we thought he did.
Hey, the more better corners we have, the more corners we have, the better, man. Like they said, like we need some pass rushers, we need corners. We have the money to pay them. Do we break the bank to get them? I just am anticipating, some BS, man, because we saw how the same thing that happened with Roshan. I thought we should have kept Roshan, but that didn't happen. We didn't keep Roquan, so I'm anticipating some more effery.
I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem departing with Roquan because knowing how that Tampa 2 defense is set up, man, Roquan is a good pursuit and tackle linebacker, but he is not good in coverage, man. He got exposed against Kansas City because they made him have to cover, and you saw it every time. He second guessed.
I don't know. I don't know.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry how you rubbing your head, kids.
In the wheel position. I think Roquan would have been a good wheel. Now, middle linebacker.
That's what I'm about to say, right? That's exactly where I was. That's why I'm rubbing my head.
Would have been great in the
Well,
wheel.
now, in that case, yeah. In that case, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. But, I mean, come on. Look what TJ Edwards gave us, man. I mean, at a discount. So
Exactly.
that's okay.
Exactly.
Love you,
That's my
Roquan.
If he was
and
Love
taking
that's
you,
how
TJ Edwards' money,
Roquan.
I'm in all day long. Or you know what I'm saying? Like that should be where Ryan Poles is.
All I
But
know is in order because Roquan is a Mike linebacker in the system. He was a Mike linebacker. All I know is when you playing 4-3 in a base concept, man, you got to be longer and you got to be better in coverage than Roquan. What they got for Roquan was much greater than the piece that we had. You know, the two together, what they got, you cannot argue with that.
Hey, I bet you Philly wish they had him.
Man, I'm telling you, man.
this year, oh yeah,
You cannot beat what we got in return for Roquan.
Oh,
No bigger
no,
Roquan
sir.
fan. No bigger Roquan fan than me, man. I stand on the table.
Oh yeah, that's my boy. I love him, man, and I love what he's doing for Baltimore, man. I really do, man. And I thought that was the perfect fit, considering they haven't had anybody at that magnitude, man, since Ray Lewis.
Yep.
So to add him and Roquan don't mind mixing up, and he gonna talk to you too, So I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect, good
I
fit.
think that elevated his game. I think going there
It did.
definitely elevated his game and took him to another level. I think hey, like I'm saying, the same way that situation worked out for us and them, if we had to move on from JJ, it could work out for whoever gets JJ and us as well.
Would
That's
you
it.
stop
I'm
bringing
saying.
up JJ's name, man? Really?
look, he's
That's all
in a
I'm
good.
saying.
You're in a good spot. The big question was, do we go and pick up a corner with the number 1 and number 9 pick? And I'm gonna go out there on a limb and say I highly doubt they're gonna be focused on cornerback that early in the draft. That's
No.
just me,
Hold on,
especially when you've got Terrell. You know what I mean? You got Terrell sitting in the wings. Get a corner for sure, but I don't think it'd be number 1.
Brian, what you think about all this old noise, man?
Well, number one, getting back to Roquan, what upset me, good player, but he seemed in his mind where he wanted to get paid so much and he tried to hold the team hostage. I don't go for any player, I don't care how good they are, holding the team hostage. So I think Poles did the right thing by trading him, and I'm happy with the results. Uh, Getting to the Jalen Johnson, same scenario. If he prices himself above what the Bears are willing to pay, hey, thanks for your service. Good luck. Uh, so far, looking at the guys, I know we hadn't got this far yet. If we re-sign JJ, I like that kid from Oregon, Jackson, just for the
Yep.
simple fact that he will have a year or two to where he is a lump of clay for Hope to work with. Because I mean, his physical, being 6'3", 195, and the way he can tackle, I'd love to see what Holt can do. If for some reason we don't uh, re-sign Johnson or trade him or whatever, the last two kids at Tampa and then the kid from Alabama, I can't think of his name. Not the first, not Kool-Aid.
Terry Arnold.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
either one of those two would be a good replacement.
I don't
I mean,
think
it's
we
going
get
to
a
take.
chance to get any of those guys early, man. I
Well,
think you're right about that.
no,
The
but if
only
you
chance we get.
trade Johnson, number one, you're pretty much going to. I don't give a crap what everybody. We're trading a number one pick.
Mhm.
Okay, whatever picks comes with that. I mean, obviously, I would like for it to be Washington and use that second pick, maybe on Harrison, but the other picks that comes with that pick, if you get one, if not both of the 2 second rounders, then most of those guys would fit in that 36 and 40, I think are the picks.
Mhm.
You are talking those players. And
Yep.
I wouldn't use the second first round on a corner, but I would use one of those second rounders if we trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Well, I
Well,
think
I'm glad you said that, Brian, because I was going to challenge you with this. Let's play devil's advocate here for a moment. Okay, let's say we feel that Jalen's asking for a little bit too much. But
Mhm.
again, let's think about it. We're talking about a free agent. Even though he's our free agent, we're talking about a guy that's considered a free agent, more or less.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, no matter who it is, you end up overpaying a little bit for a free agent. I'd rather overpay for a free agent who I'm familiar with, who's in my system, than say, okay, well, I'm gonna let him ride, and I'm gonna go after somebody else. Granted, now, yes, luckily this draft, you got some really good corners that you can probably take a swing at, and probably would not go wrong. But let's say they weren't that talented in this draft, that deep. Then come on, man. I'd rather pay a little premium
Yeah.
for somebody that's already in house than say, oh, well, I'm gonna let him ride, and I'm gonna take a swing on somebody, and I'm gonna use Samo's word, someone who's good from over here.
Well, where I would differ from you, number one, what would be a little bit if we say 16 and a half and he says 18, okay, that's only a
But see,
million
that's
and
too
a half.
low right there. You already come out the gate cheap,
Yeah,
Brian.
that's too cheap.
Come on, Brian.
Wait a
Come on,
minute.
man. Look,
Wait,
we
wait,
all
wait.
Samo said it was too
we
cheap.
all didn't know.
Samo ain't trying to pay
That's
this.
too cheap.
We all are guilty of overpaying for something in life. So if we're
Absolutely.
gonna overpay for
Yeah.
something, I'll overpay for JJ, man, cause he's
Well, wait a
paid.
minute.
He's paid his dues. You coming
I-
out cheap, Brian? Come on, man.
No, wait a minute. Go back
Yeah.
and rewatch this. I just put the number that we talked about.
16.
I'm
No,
not coming
anything.
out cheap. What did we talk about here at the beginning? What his price?
I remember
Starting out
18. We
16 and a
said
half.
18. We said 18.
He probably
I don't know where
heard
16 and a half came out,
Me,
Brian. I didn't hear
he
that.
probably heard me say that you probably can get him at 16 or 17 if you front load.
Don't listen to Nomad, man. I'm gonna speak for Chris on this one.
No.
Don't listen to Nomad.
We could have did that before, maybe before, but not now.
I believe
right.
18 is the cap number, though.
All right. Say they
Look,
offer
here's
him
what-
18 and a half. Say they offer him 18 and a half and he wants 21.
Oh, but now we're talking now. Now I hear where you're going with that, but see now I said let's play a little devil's advocate here. You want to go take it way over here?
Wait, you bitched
Straight
at
to
me the
hell with
other
it,
way.
So you want to talk
I-
these numbers?
No, you threw out 16 and a half, Brian. That's the only reason I kind of came
That's
came
because that's
at
what
you.
Nomad. figured
I
that was
said
the
don't.
bottom.
Didn't you get the memo for Chris? Don't listen to Nomad.
That wasn't
No,
the
listen
memo.
to Chris.
Actually, it was the entire memo. I'm just gonna put it this way. So Bill Polian took a look at this team, and he said this: most Super Bowl teams require a certain amount of blue chippers in order to sustain success, and we're shy a whole bunch of blue chippers. In my opinion, I think the last thing that needs to be
What do you
done
mean
right
by
now
whole
is
bunch?
letting go one of our blue chip players. That's just me. I think you keep the guy, you pay the guy, and he's a staple on your team. You just brought in a blue chipper in Montez Sweat. There's not a whole lot of them that you can just point to and say, yeah, man, that guy's a blue chipper. He's going to be here for X amount of years. Jalen Johnson is one of them guys. I say pay the guy, and that's all I have to say about it.
I don't think he's going nowhere.
I agree with you, kids.
I think
That's
Keith
all I
made
gotta
a good point when he said that you know what you're getting out of Jalen Johnson. Or if Foles feels like he knows what he's getting from Jalen Johnson, they know him better than I know him, better than any of us know him. His work ethic, his attitude, how he's motivated. They know that and they understand that. And if it costs a premium to keep a guy that you feel like is a blue chipper, then absolutely pay him. But I'm just saying, I'm preparing myself for if they
For it
get
to go the other way. I'm with you.
for it to go the other way, just because we've watched it go the other way consistently.
With
Like we
Roquan,
haven't
we've seen
signed any, and he didn't draft this guy. You know what I'm saying?
This is
And
true.
and
But
Drew
I
didn't
will
choose
I
him.
will
Drew
add
didn't
this,
choose
Sam.
guy. So that's the
Sam,
only thing that I'm thinking about, huh?
let me add this. At the end of season presser, one of the things he did say definitely, he
Jalen's
said,
not going nowhere.
Jalen's not going
Going.
anywhere.
He said
So,
the same thing about Roquan. No, he said the same thing about Roquan.
Well, you know what? I hope that he wouldn't. I'd hope that he wouldn't go because I think it would have a bad effect. I mean, we will have the money to pay him, so
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead and pay him. Just make sure you trade first pick and get 2 second rounders for it.
All right, Chris, don't go
Hey.
nowhere because I'm about to because this is a great way to finish that conversation about Jalen. Okay, this is the best way I think we can frame this. And I'm just gonna ask a question. I'm not gonna make a statement. I'll finish it when you guys get done with it. But my question is based on the way we were trending towards the end of the season and the way the coaches and the GM and the people in the front office think about the way this team looked towards the end of the season, the gains, the progress, how they competed against some of the better teams in the league, and they saw that competition and where we stood against those teams, the measurable. That's a great measurable, right? And so now you sitting in the boardroom, now you're thinking about who to sign, who not to, what to do in free agency, what to do in the draft. Based on what you saw, Samo, the progress, do you think is strong enough to warrant that you take not only the big swing in free agency that you think you need to, and this is just me asking you, and do you keep that blue chipper that kid says JJ is because you feel like you can make a run? Do you think we competed well enough to get there and make that happen?
We should be swinging for the fences, man, this season, man, this off season in free agency and in the draft. Like, I think we should acquire more draft capital, and we definitely should, look to add some talent, add another blue chip player in the in free agency or two, because I think we can get at least 2 more blue chip players outside of Jalen Johnson. If we talking about that, like, yeah, we definitely should be doing that this year. I think we shown enough progress. We should have had at least 10 wins last year with the team that we had. And we know that offensively we were deficient of talent at almost every position on the offensive line. Running back wasn't great. Wide receiver was left a lot to be desired. I'll just say that. Yes, I think this is the year that you do that because we see the teams around us in our division getting better. I think that this is the offseason. We can get a lot better and, close that gap between them.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I just, the only things on my mind right now is getting more draft picks. Got to get more draft picks, and we all know what that means to get more draft picks. Isn't that right, Nick?
Now, that wasn't a question now, Chris.
I don't want to answer your question. Leave me alone, Brian.
Well, we'll get on that. All right, Brian, what do you think about that?
Chris got pulled over. He said the car. I don't answer.
Started it.
Well, I mean, want me to say the question again? Brian?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was basically what I said was,
Yeah,
do you think, based on what you've seen towards the end of the year, do you think that warrants to make a big swing in free agency and gives you the confidence to sign someone like Jalen Johnson because you think you can really make a push this year?
Well, okay, if you take Jason Johnson out of the cornerback room, okay, you got Stevens, you got Smith, you got Blackwell, you got Jalen Jones, correct? What do you have at defensive end outside of Sweat? Which do you think is the bigger need?
Well, I think you're talking about, do we take a swing at defensive end right now? I'm saying just if they did take a swing at defensive end, does it warrant?
If you sign Jalen Johnson to that big contract, when you add how much the cost of the draft picks that we have now, which is going to be close to $15 million if you go to Spot Track, you can forget about getting any kind of big time, what's his name from Minnesota, Hunter, a defensive end. You can forget about that. Which is your higher priority? Building up that defensive end or knowing what you got at cornerback minus JJ? Whichever one is your higher priority. It's not up to me to say which one it is. You guys make up your own.
Okay. How old is Danielle Hunter?
About 29.
Yeah, 29.
Okay, how do we look as far as defensive ends coming out of the draft?
Well, number one, I think
I just let's address the question. What
It's
are we
not as
look?
deep as corner.
Okay, it's not as deep as corner, but
I mean,
however,
that's my opinion, but
I get it. I get it, and I'm not negating it. But again, in the draft, what could we do at defensive end that can be coached up and already got raw talent at that position versus what we know we have in JJ?
well, I think that's a mm,
Sign one and draft one.
yeah. That's
Draft the DN, sign your corner.
Oh, we can do both. We
You
got
can do
60. We
all
got
of the
60.
you can do
We,
all of
we
the above.
yeah, we got 63 million.
but
You
that's
can do
that
all of the
goes
above.
it
Yeah.
goes directly to the question. I think what I'm trying to get at, I think this is what I want everybody to understand what my mind is. I think that we're good enough to if you're gonna take a big swing, wherever regardless of whether you think that swing is, whether it's defensive end in free agency, I think they're going to find a way to keep Jalen Johnson here, one way or the other. Might not be exactly what he wants, but I think they find a way to keep him here and do that big swing in free agency. Whether it's
So
a defensive end, whether it's a defensive tackle, whatever it is. But I think what I'm trying to get at is do they think are they confident enough that they saw enough gains during this year to do it in this off season? I think this is mostly what I'm saying. I think they are
So
personally.
let me answer you here, man. So J2K is saying we can sign Jalen Johnson 18 million or so and get a 15 to 20 million dollar defensive end. And he's bang on. We're okay. One does not preclude the other. You can do both and you can still sign a defensive end and or cornerback in the draft.
Because the DN
Let's put
doesn't
all
have
the
to be a long contract. You can get that DN and say you can get him for about maybe say 3 years, and you know that you can draft one to develop coming in to be come in behind him. So at the and do
100%.
Jalen on a longer contract, but front load him. So either way, we're not hamstrung when it comes time to sign other guys that's coming up for extensions in the next year and the year after that. So no, I'm with you on that, kids.
You can do all of the above. One does not preclude the other, and that's something to be said. To really answer what Nomad is saying is like, do we think that they're going to take this type of swing? I'm going to say that I don't think they have a choice this time around. So
Right.
the word choice I'm using specifically because last season, polls made a specific choice, and that choice was not to address the defensive end position, and he held back and he held back. Everybody stopped and they made their predictions. The season started and things started to go sideways. And in comes Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue doesn't do the job. We still waiting for somebody on the other side. We finally get somebody on the other side towards the end of the season, and the season was basically already done. Right, so he comes, he makes an impact. Things are a little bit different. Jalen sees a burst of upside, if you will, due to that Tez effect. So does other players. But that choice was made specifically, and it landed us where we wound up this year. This time around, if he chooses not to address the defensive end possession on the other side of Montez Sweat, we're in for similar situations. So I don't think he has a choice. I think he has to go forward and get that other edge rusher position solidified and square. Once it's square, I think we're going to see a massive difference on this team.
I think Kids is probably I just look at the value of the free agent market and where the strengths are in the free agent market, position from position. The weakest one, in my opinion, is receivers. The receiver group is not as good as a normal free agent market would be. It's just not really good players in free agency. I think the safety group is better than people think. They see Antoine Winfield and they don't want to do any more homework underneath there. They don't really want to. I mean, there's some really good safeties underneath there. They wanted to sign one, they could do that, but I think if they sign one, it's going to be a mid-tier guy, somebody in that mid-tier. I'm talking about pay bracket. That's what I mean by mid-tier. Somebody's not going to cost you as much as an Antoine Winfield. I think they can get similar or just as good a production out of one of them. That will allow you to get to a place where you can make a choice to where you know what, let's really put us over the top and get that other guy on the edge, like Kids was saying, and let's really get after teams and make this team on defense look exactly what we thought it could look like, and really just get after teams and turn the ball over and give us great field position, put us in position to win games. And so
I don't think it's an over the top thing, and I just want to comment on that. I don't know if it is. I think it's an absolute requirement. Like leaving that position untouched. I think it is. And this is my opinion straight up. I think it's an absolute requirement. He has to touch that position. Leaving that position alone.
I'm talking about the big swing, kids. I'm not talking about the Daniil Hunter, Brian Burns. I'm talking Chase Young. I'm talking about the position. Now you're talking about the position. They're going to get an edge rusher or two out of this free agency. I almost can guarantee you that. Whether they spend big money on
one, you're saying like big money,
or go out and get the pair. You know, you get the pair for the 2 for 1. You that's the question.
I can see that.
They're gonna touch
two. Yeah, we're definitely gonna
touch one. I'm just saying, the requirement. I don't think the big swing is the requirement. Just to get.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I see what you're saying.
Medium swing.
Yeah, medium swing should be fine. Like, to be honest with you, save dollars and cents in that respect. Spread the money around into other places like safety, like you were saying.
Then you got to go. You got to go early though. If you take the medium swing, you still got to go
take
early.
Draft early. You got to draft one early. That's what I'm saying.
Go early. Man, I'm telling you, we got
your hand at that point.
We got to build this thing from the inside out. We got to, and we'll be fine, man. We go inside out, pick up a good or 2 good wide receivers. We're going to be good. That's why it's so important, man, to turn that top pick into multiple picks, because we have more than one hole, to address.
You got to address that defensive end.
Chris, I am so glad you said that, because I have a scenario I want to throw at you guys, man, that I've been tossing around this entire weekend. How I think Poles can really pull this off and identify all the holes, as well as with the use of free agency. Also, I believe first day of free agency, he's going to go get that center, and I think he can get that center at a good price. First and foremost, and I think he can find I think he can find that edge first day or second day of free agency. But here's the kicker, man. I want you guys to do the math with me here. Take that first pick, trade back. And I truly believe, and this is just me reading tea leaves, that second pick is going to be available, because I believe Washington's going to be the one to say, hey, look, we're going to go up. We're going to go get our guy. Now, what people don't understand is, because it's only going from 1 to 2, to think that we're going to get a major haul. I mean, we're going to get next year's first, year after that first, possibly a player, and I think Curtis Samuel might be an opportunity just to come over and that address that. Oh, he is? Okay, well then. Yes. But I think they can possibly get a player. If not a player, they can get a second from Washington. But here we go. Now here's the play. Take that second pick, and again, because this draft is also heavy in receiver, take that second pick. Now you trade back again, whether it be with New York at 6, Atlanta at 8. Okay, hear me when I say this, or somebody down there, say around, whether it be the Raiders or Denver, to come up. And everybody's saying, well, why would he go back that far? You guys are missing this. If he go to 6 or 8. And okay, so 9 times Marvin Harrison Jr. will probably be gone. But just going down just to 6 or 8, or even let somebody come up from the teens to come get that slot. Imagine what you can pick up in terms of future first, but this year's seconds and thirds to help you fill in those gaps. Now you're really building this thing out. You take your 9, you pick whatever you pick at 9, and then you come back down. Let's say it happens to be somebody out of the teams, whether it be the Raiders or Denver. Now You got that pick there, right? What are you getting now? Like I said, now you done picked up some extra seconds and thirds. Those are your gap fillers, man. We don't have any. We don't have a second period right now. So if we can pick up, say, 2 or 3 seconds for this draft alone,
That's my
now
goal.
we
That's
cook.
the
Now
goal
we
for me.
cook. We cooking with some real grease there, baby.
Can I ask you
Now
guys
we
something?
filling it in. Yes, sir.
Let me ask one question, then I'm going to be quiet. Would you guys do this trade? Washington calls you, say, "Hey, look, we'll give you number two, we'll give you number one next year, and we'll give you both seconds because they've got 2 second rounders this year." Would you do it?
Done. I'm
Hell
done.
yeah.
That's
Come
the
on.
trade I'm hoping
Come on.
happens. That's
Every
the
One,
trade.
day,
That's
twice
that's
on
the
Sunday.
starting point to me. That's
and
like if you want this guy so bad,
I
this is
might
what it's
still,
gonna cost you.
I might still say, give me my slot from Penn State too. Throw him in there, and make me feel good
I,
about it.
I would definitely say what you're saying, Chris. And when they say no, we can't do that, I'd say okay, it's
Man,
cool. Give me the
please.
That's
first
I'll
one, we'll
take
get
that.
rid of
I'll,
that.
I'll take
I
that
would
all
push
day
the
long,
envelope
baby.
too.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
what
put
I'm
the
Yeah.
envelope.
saying that is going to be. That's the trade right there. Then you have
Yeah.
opportunity, like Keith is saying, to trade back again. You can
Yeah,
trade 2 to 3. You can go 2 to 3 and pick up another second at least in the first next year.
yeah.
And then you looking at 3 first-round picks next year and 3 second-round picks this year. Like
I
that's
don't
Listen,
know
man.
that you can get the same type of value once Caleb comes off the board. The value's going down.
Oh,
Caleb is the pick.
I don't know, my friend, because
yeah.
Jaden Daniels, man, is not
I'm telling
somebody
you,
that you want to
It's
sleep
not.
on, brother.
Let's move away
that's the
from
top
the
quarterback in this
personality
draft.
and move
To
towards
me,
the
he's the
team.
most pro ready and ready to rock and
I
roll
know,
back.
I've been
but
saying
let's
that
move
for the
away from the
longest. Keith
personalities
Phillips.
and move towards the teams and their requirements, their
Yeah,
needs.
Okay,
And
I'm
the
with you on that,
question is
kids.
not about the personalities; it's about how much does my organization need a quarterback right now,
yeah.
or
Franchise
need a wide
quarterback.
receiver right now?
Yep.
Ryan Poles needs to be in a position where he's comfortable, quite literally, selling these players to the highest bidder. That's really what's happening here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
We look at it
Yes.
as trades, and we look at the value of each one of these players. There's a whole other side of this, and this is what does Atlanta, as a for instance, really need? Do they need a quarterback? Yes. I don't give a rat's patoot as to which one it is or what he
Mm-hmm.
looks like. I just want
Exactly.
to know what you can give me to get yourself
There
down there. And
you
if it
go.
ain't
Whoever
commensurate,
you
then
want,
we
you
ain't
come.
doing business.
It's
Whoever you
gonna
want, you
cost you.
come get your man, but it's
Yep.
gonna cost you to come get your
It's
man. And
gonna
I
I'm the
think
cost you.
guy.
you're at
And
14, you got 43, you got a one next year. That's interesting. We can have a conversation about the number 2 pick in this scenario. We can talk because I want that one next year, and I need another second because I can
yeah.
fill up some.
well,
So,
guys,
And I
do
use
you
number
want
2.
lemonade or do you want spiked lemonade? Either one, I got them both.
all right,
By
That's
the
guys.
way,
it.
let me peek at your roster as well to see who I want off
What
here.
else you got? Yeah,
Hold
next
up,
time.
hold up, fellas.
It's gonna
Here's what I
cost you.
see. Now, this is just my instincts talking, and we'll wrap this up like this. I think the value of the pick at 1 and 2. I think one specifically got much more valuable the minute Patrick Mahomes and his style of play and his throwing motion and the owners. And let me tell you something: the owners are more of a leverage on the GMs than what you guys might think. They're gonna say, you know what, I want that guy. And Washington has put themselves in position strategically to getting Cliff Kingsbury to be that player. That pick, the value of that pick with every play Patrick Mahomes made, just turned that pick and just got it more and more valuable. And so eventually it's going to raise to a level of, okay, we know this pick is going to garner us this, this, and that. Whatever that is and whatever it looks like, we can argue and debate about it all night long. But the second pick is where it gets really, really, really interesting. Jaden Daniels, who I think is the most clean, polished, prepared, NFL ready quarterback in this draft. By far, to me, I don't even think it's close. Drake May, I think he's right there with him as far as being polished and prepared to play pro style NFL football. What I mean by that, getting under the center and playing play action is what most teams do. Caleb is the least prepared to do that, but he's valuable because he's valuable because he's valuable. People love Caleb Williams and the potential that he might bring because of Patrick Mahomes' aura, and they compare that to him. So regardless of what people that really sit around and watch tape like a nerd like me, thinks about that. It's about what that ownership thinks. It's about what that GM thinks, and what Ryan Poles is sitting there amassing as far as information goes. Because to me, I do think the double trade down, it was less obvious last year that could happen, but I think it's more obvious this year that I think he's positioning himself to be that guy to be able to do that twice. And I think the trade is going to come faster than we think. Why? Because I think he wants to prepare himself for that opportunity that's going to arise at two. I think Jaden Daniels is that guy.
It's funny you say that the double trade down wasn't as obvious last year. I think it was even more obvious last year.
Hell no, not.
No, for sure. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you how it.
I'm gonna get around to you. I'm trying to wrap this up, man. We've been on here.
All right, well, go ahead then.
We're gonna get around to you. But I just wanted to kind of wrap that conversation up like this. But we'll go around to Sam. We'll start with Samuel. Y'all want to touch any of that on the way out the door? Shout outs, whatever you want to do, man. Go right ahead.
Hey, absolutely, that's the goal, man. Double trade down all day, every day. That's the trade scenario. That's the least that we're going to receive for moving from 1 to 2. It's those 2 second-round picks and a first-round pick next year. You know, we can close the deal if that's going to happen. You know, that's what I'm telling Washington. You can come get Caleb, and we'll be all good. And then again, we can move. We can either pick someone there and then trade at 9, go back, or trade at 2 and get back from there. Like, there's so many different opportunities that we have to make sure that we getting the guy that we want, because I'm sure Post is going to identify whatever player he wants and make sure that he gets who he wants. And if that's Marvin Harrison Jr. and he don't want to gamble with it, then hey, go get your guy, and we'll move on from there. Shout out to everybody who rocked with us tonight in the draft. I mean, in the chat or whatever. Great show, man. Great show tonight. Cornerbacks, another stacked group. Just more so the reason why we need to accumulate more picks. This is a deep draft. This is probably one of the deepest drafts we've had in the recent years, like at many positions too. So I think it's pretty stacked, man. We can really add a lot of talent to our roster this year. I'm looking forward to this offseason, man, to just kick off with free agency so we can really know what's going to kick off in this draft and keep looking at these players.
Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, make me an offer.
I'm going to make this my desktop. I don't care about anything else until I know what we're going to get for the first pick. I shouldn't say that. I'll be on the edge of free agency because that's going to really say what we have to go out and get in the draft.
How many mocks you did since the last time you did that thumbnail?
Probably 3.
Only, man, come on.
I don't just sit around. I don't live in mama's basement. Mama's dead. I got stuff I got to do.
You know that's more like 300, man. Stop playing.
Man, don't even try it. I just know how to. Don't be mad because I know how to work the site. You don't. Shoot. But hey, look, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, Joseph Matuzak, Mr. Mayhem, Cornelius, all my regulars. I love you guys. Doing all 36 in the grasp. I like that. Hey, listen, guys, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to hit that like and share button. And don't forget to turn your notifications, man. We got some momentum here, some good stuff coming up. And believe me, we're going to be all over it. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Brian, Keith, my boy Kid, Samo, and the doodle in the back. I'm going to smack him later. So bear down, you guys.
Go ahead, Brian.
Getting to that trade that Chris brought up, I would be ecstatic. I would be switching from 1 to 2, getting both of their first round picks and next year's first. That's a haul for only moving up 1. I don't even care about getting a first round pick in 26. I don't know what's going to be available in 26. So why care for that? I'd rather have the more picks in this upcoming draft because I know the players. Now, getting back to the comment that you made, Nomad, about owners and GM could be on a different wavelength, and I agree with that 100%. This may sound oxymoron. An owner is going to be looking at dollars and cents. they're not worried about wins. As long as the money's coming in, they don't give jack about the record. You get Caleb Williams going back home to D.C., there's ticket sales. If you go back and look at 2021, 2022, the Commanders was towards the bottom on ticket sales. They draft Williams, that changed. Jersey sales. It's probably going to be, if it's not number one, it's going to be in the top three. So Magic Johnson and that group that just bought the Commanders, they're looking at that money. And you hit the nail on the head. I know they got that GM from the Niners, and he's thinking about building that. That's fine and dandy next year. This year, let's make the profit, get a popular player.
Plus, hey, Virginia's 142 years old. She ain't ready to wait on another rookie.
Bingo.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for stopping by tonight, everybody. Have a blessed week.
All right. Go ahead, Keith.
All right, well, a couple things real quick. Let's pay close attention because we're about 15 days out from free agency, about to kick off. That's going to help us really see where everybody's heading. This is one of the most important free agencies that we're going to see. This free agency is going to show some hands of those that play cards. So that's important. With that being said, once that happens, then we can pretty much, I won't say predict the draft, but we'll have a good idea of who's gonna be what players and for what type and for what in terms of their needs, whether it's quarterback, whether it's edge, whatever the case may be. But this particular free agency is going to be the telltale for all of that. Besides that, hey, it's been great tonight, fellas. I enjoyed myself. For everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you for, just always participating. You guys come out with some amazing questions and comments, by the way. We really do appreciate it. I know I do, being the new guy on the block. I truly enjoy it, and I'm just loving this time, man. I really am. And I love, man, Samo, my man, and kids, yes sir, and of course you always, Brian. I mean, I look forward to always getting with you guys and chatting it up with y'all, man. We gonna keep our boy JJ, and he's better than good, but I mean, we hope to keep. I mean, we hope to keep him. I mean, he's great quality.
I hope he plays great.
He's a great human being, and I do too. I do too. Don't get me wrong, I do too. But hey, other than that. Everybody in the chat, those of us that's on the screen, hey, I want to, just wish all you guys a very blessed week. Be safe, love your family. Make sure if you haven't told that person, make sure you tell everybody that you love them, because guess what? We're blessed to be a blessing, but one thing for sure, at some point in time, we may get called home. So make sure you let that person know, your loved ones, let them know you love them. All right, guys? Y'all have a good one.
Damn, Keith got deep.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's Sunday night. I'm not gonna get deep at all. I'm gonna say, what's up, chat? No Maniacs. Thanks for representing with us once again. Keith, Sam, O'Brien, Chris, Nomad. Fun times. We got to check out some cornerbacks today. Like I say, almost across the board systematically, this draft is pretty deep with talent. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I kind of have to agree with my man Keith here, just in saying that everything we're doing for the most part is going to be speculation until we see that combine and we get an understanding as to what Ryan Poles really has up his sleeve for free agency. To Zakwa, thanks for coming out and checking us out. Outside of that, Nomad, to touch on the little comment that you made. Basically, Poles was trying to do a double dip last time around and get the Texans pick too. The Texans had 2 first-rounders, and that was what he was aimed at. When that fell through, it was actually a double trade. It was with the Texans first, and then with the Panthers. When the Texans trade fell through, he went straight with the Panthers, and that's part and parcel as to why the Texans were down. And and traded up and dipped in again with Arizona because that trade fell through. That's basically what happened last year. I saw that coming all day long. I thought it was something that I was super stoked for us to score those 2 first rounders from the Texans if at all possible. It just wasn't in the cards. I was stoked for it to happen again this time with Arizona. Right now, I don't think that's in the cards either. I think we're really looking squarely at at the Commanders that won those 2 second rounders and potentially a one next year. Outside of that, maybe they actually just decide to spend that capital right up front. And if they do, I think it's a little bit of a waste. But hey, Virginia's getting old.
I'll just
Ain't
say
we all?
I'll just say this too, just to end that conversation. Nobody really knows exactly what's going to go on. That draft last year, I think C.J. Stroud got some. I think he got some bad press, towards during that draft process, and people
Yeah.
started kind of pulling him down a little bit, and it was all effed up, in my opinion.
Yep.
And it turned out to be true. But I think that may have hampered the process for Ryan Poles. I don't know. I'm just gathering what information I saw and how that played out. I'm just recalling it, and I just remember C.J. Stroud kind of being pulled down in a negative way towards the end when it was almost time to draft, and that happens to people, man. You see that every year. Some player or two gets snatched down, because of some like Laramie Tunsil, ends up being probably one of the best 2 or 3 left tackles in the league, but somebody did their damnedest to pull him down. You know what I mean? So you have that energy out there. But that being said, I think you guys are right. I think this free agency period is gonna tell us a lot based on what they do in those first couple of days about everything. All this stuff we've been talking about drafting the quarterback, not drafting the quarterback, sticking with Justin, moving Justin, all that stuff is gonna tell me it's going to tell me in free agency exactly what they're. I already feel like I know what they're going to do, but the free agency is going to crystallize it for me, because if they're ready to make a move now, they'll let you know in free agency, and you don't do that. When you just go and get a DJ Moore and a Montez Sweat, they don't want to wait the next 2-3 years for no quarterback to develop. Neither does the free agent that they want to make a big swing at in free agency. They ain't got time for that shit. They want to come to a team that's solidified and know where they're going, and ain't sitting up there developing, hoping for something to happen. They know what they have in the quarterback, and they're gonna make a move for him. And so when you get through with all that, we need to draft Caleb stuff. You got to think about it in those terms. You got to attract free agents. You got to keep the free agents that you just put on your team happy. You got to keep your team happy, and you gotta look at it from that prism. No good free agent is going to want to come here worth his salt with the quarterback development. Yep. They're not going to be able to get the guys that they want. And this is a good year for getting. And so with that all being said, let's just say this. Believe what you want, trust what you see. You know what I mean? You can believe what you want, but trust what you see and what they say. And so I believe that they know exactly what they're doing. I think they like what they had in the quarterback and the direction they were going. I think they can make a push now, and I think they're going to make a statement in free agency that tells you exactly that. And so whatever that move is, whether it's a DN, D tackle, center, I think they're going to do a little bit of everything. But they're going to tell you exactly what they think in free agency. But with that being said, let me say this to you guys. Let me give you guys something positive to think about. People don't know that I'm not going to get specific about my personal life, but I'm going to just say this to you guys. Man, I don't know what it is that you particularly are pushing for in your life or have pushed for in your life, or what you strive for, or what you aspire yourself to be at some point. If you got to a certain point in your life and you think that because you got to a certain point in your life, whether it be age, whatever it is, health, whatever it is, and you think it's unachievable, man, let me tell you something, man. Never, ever, ever give up trying. Don't ever stop pushing. Don't give up hope for nothing in the world. You hang on to that like you hanging on to a tiny thread that's about to drop you over a cliff, and that's all you got to hang on to. Hang on to your dreams, hang on to your hopes, hang on to your aspirations, no matter what. This network right here is part of my aspirations. You know, these guys around me that's a part of this show are part of my aspiration. It happened because I didn't give up. When it looked bad for me, when it looked bad for my outlook on whether or not I'd be able to pull it off, you know, I just dug in harder. I just dug in harder. And so when you hear people trying to pull you down or telling you you can't do something, or you too old to do this, or you too young to do that, or your health ain't good enough to be doing this, man, tell them to go do something and stick it somewhere. Keep pushing. Don't give up. Just keep going after whatever it is you want, and it's gonna send out an energy to the universe, and the universe is gonna answer because you won't give up. It's going to answer and give you what you asked for. This network is a prime example of that. And so what I say to you guys that always show up for us in the chat and always support us, man, we love it. Just keep bringing that same energy because we're going to keep trying to inspire you guys, keep bringing you guys great content. Even though I'm a part of the show and they're a part of the show, I actually enjoy doing it. I absolutely enjoy doing this stuff with these guys. It's absolutely fun. I know you guys enjoy it, but we enjoy doing it. So it's the energy is great all the way around, is what I'm trying to say. And just before I get out of here, I just got to tell you this. Whatever it is that you're after, one more time, whatever it is that you're after and you want to achieve, just don't let go of it. And just that stubbornness that you need to have to get after what you want. You know, some people will say you're being crazy, you're being stupid, or give it up. Don't listen to that stuff. Just keep after it, man, and eventually it's going to pay off. Just believe in it. And so before we get out of here, I'll just say thank you one more time to you guys that's in the chat. Anybody that might be listening on the audio stream, thank you for your support. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and keep pushing us forward, and we'll keep giving you great content as you deserve, man. But I'll leave this with these last famous words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Boom.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Gentlemen, make me no fucking confused.